The Six Nations 2023 BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra.
Hello, I'm Sonia McLaughlin. Welcome to Twickenham. Now look, the Six Nations has served up rugby to stir the soul this weekend, hasn't it? How good was Ireland against France? And dare we say it, could Scotland be contenders, I wonder? We're very much hoping that England against Italy this afternoon will be another reminder of why we love this great game of rugby union. Kick-off at 3 o'clock. We've got full commentary to come right here on Sports Extra. I've got lots of fans standing in front of me. I'm just by the tunnel pitch side, actually. They're straining to get photographs and autographs as well of the England players who are just out on the pitch at the minute, just going through their early warm-ups. I know I spent the day yesterday, had a rare day off, parked on my sofa all afternoon, just drinking it all in. I wonder, Danny Kerr, Kat Marchant, who are with us today, was it the same for you guys?
Yeah, I actually ditched the kids for the first time, which was great, firstly, and then managed to watch some rugby. And wow, what an afternoon of rugby. If we start with the Ireland-France game, I think that may be one of the best test matches I've ever seen from, for me, definitely the best two teams in the world. And they proved it yesterday. They were unbelievable, both of them.
Yeah, the first half was incredible, wasn't it? I was screaming at the TV, jumping up and down, annoying my boyfriend and the dogs. But no, it was a great game of rugby, and then followed up as well with an amazing Scotland performance. So the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's the Six Nations in a nutshell, isn't it, Kat? Let's try and answer both of those two questions I've actually raised at the top, and you've started to allude to it. First of all, Danny, you've played a lot of Test match rugby. How good? Put it into some. How good was Ireland against France?
Do you know what, Sonj? I've kind of been sat on the fence with, are Ireland the best team in the world, or should it be France? And then watching that yesterday, I was so impressed with the Irish. Honestly, the way that they kind of collide with each other, and I mean that in a nice way, the forwards and the backs, the way that they connect is so effortless, and they play so nicely with the ball, but then at the breakdown it is so physical, and they play so fast, and they don't let the French team recover. The French were a bigger pack. I think they were 60 kilograms heavier than the Irish, but you wouldn't have known it because of the way that the Irish went about their business, and they're so clinical when they get their opportunities, and that in a nutshell is Test match rugby. It's being physical, it's playing fast, and it is being clinical, and Ireland are ticking all those three boxes at the moment.
Yeah, for me, Ireland were just amazing. They have that flair, and they play loose like France do as well. But as Danny said, they're just more clinical, and they just take their opportunities. And some of those tries were just outstanding.
Yeah, we'll talk all things England, Italy very shortly. But are Scotland contenders, the pair of you?
Yeah, they are. If Finn Russell keeps playing the way he plays, they are 100% contenders. I thought yesterday was one of the best performances I've seen from a fly half. And I just love what Finn does. He backs himself. He makes mistakes, but who cares? He's so good. He makes mistakes, but he backs himself, and he's allowed to make these mistakes. I think he's backed by Craig Townsend and that Scottish coaching team, that this is the way we're going to play. It might be look risky, but Finn makes it look so incredibly easy. And what was it, 4 assists yesterday? He could have scored a couple himself, but I think after the game he said, I'm just making everyone else look good around me, which I think is Finn in a nutshell.
Yeah, the out the back one where you thought he might go over himself, but even more flair out the back, get the extra offload in. I reckon for his stats he was playing that one for, but no, a phenomenal player to watch, and Scotland are just rallying together and really just starting to put performances in back to back, and that's great to see.
Yeah, because you just know that there was a time when Scotland could attack. You know, they always got over the 22, and then they just got white line fever, and now it seems like every time they go over the 22, they can't stop scoring tries. It's quite fantastic to watch, isn't it? Look, the table, I mean, this doesn't really work very well on the radio, but I'm just going to say it anyway. The table as it stands, of course, sees Ireland and Scotland both with maximum points after 2 wins on the bounce. Ireland's points difference better by all of 3 points. So look, England looking to get off the mark today. They can actually go third if they were to get a bonus point win today. But the brilliance of Italy at the minute is that if they win today and got a bonus point win, they could go third as well. Claire Thomas is our commentator today. Afternoon, Claire.
Good afternoon, Sonia. Delighted to be here. This should be a cracker.
Shouldn't it? Just, yeah, it's filling up nicely here at Twickenham, actually. England's still out on the pitch, away to my left, just going through some brief line-out drills. Jamie George has got the ball in his hand, the England hooker, and the crowd. Those green seats are just turning various shades of different colours as the crowd start to come in from the West Car Park and they start to take their seats ahead of this. And Claire, just run the rule over the teams for us, would you?
Of course. Well, let's start with the visitors today. Kieran Crowley's taking the approach that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And let's not forget, last week, Italy almost overturned France in Rome. With 18 minutes left on the clock, they actually led the reigning Grand Slam champions. So I think it's with that in mind that Crowley, who's been at the helm of this side for almost 2 years now, he's only made 2 changes to the starting 15. Edoardo Padovani gets a start on the right wing in the place of Pierre Bruno, who drops to the bench. Now, Padovani is the one that finished off that try to end all tries in Cardiff last year when Italy finally beat Wales in Cardiff. The other change comes in the front row at tight head. Marco Riccioni, who plays for Saracens, is back from a lengthy ACL-induced spell on the sidelines. For England, very few changes as well, but the ones that have really caught everyone's attention come in the midfield, because Marcus Smith, who started the last 15 tests in a row for England, he drops to the bench so that Owen Farrell is the sole conductor of Borthwick's band at Twickenham today. He wears the fly half jersey. Ollie Lawrence has it inside centre. Henry Slade is back from a hip injury. He starts at 13, and then it's pretty much the same as we saw last week against Scotland in the pack. The only change, Jack Willis, the 6'3" artful dodger, turnover machine, he gets the nod at open side.
Yeah, if it was a conundrum, that midfield, and I think there's column inches have been written ad nauseum about the Smith-Farrell axis. It's gone. It is Farrell at 10 and Smith on the bench. Let's hear from Steve Borthwick as to why he's grasped the nettle and made that decision.
Well, I think Owen's got a fantastic skill set, and I think we all see that. His ability, his game management is superb, and I think having the ability for him to play 10 or 12 and having the ability to change the way the team is set up within the game also gives great flexibility. You look at the bench we have, particularly in the backs there with Alex Mitchell, with Marcus, with Henry Arundel. I think you see the ability to bring that pace, the flexibility that we have with the ability to change the dynamics within the game, change the position within the game, and the talent that is on the bench. And you look at the backs to start with, when Alex Mitchell and his ability to find space and attack around the ruck. You look at Marcus, we know the skill set he has, the ability to find space and pull defenders out and put attackers through holes. And then Henry Arundel, who's worked so hard to return from injury in the shape he is and ready to go. He's been tremendous in training.
Yeah, look, we could debate all the way up to kick-off the Freudian slip, Smith-Farrell axis and what he's done. But let's just start there, Danny. And given that you play week in, week out with Marcus Smith, who is now relegated to the bench, what do you make of this decision that Borthwick's gone with?
Yeah, it didn't surprise me, Sonia. I thought it might happen this week. Something Eddie Jones always used to say was about getting the best 80-minute performance out of the jersey. I mean, he was being kind to me when he always put me on the bench, so I think he was just trying to keep me entertained. But if we could get the best 80-minute performance out of that number 10 jersey, then maybe it is Owen Farrell for 60 minutes, kicking the corners, leading the team with his physicality and energy, and then hopefully Marcus Smith coming on with the last 20 minutes to go and carving up. That's what I'm hoping for Marcus today, that there'll be a bit more space for him when he does come on to be able to show what he can do, because I think he's maybe been a little bit stifled in that shirt, and I'd like to see him maybe in the back ends of game. It's when I used to make my money, Sonia, the back ends of the game, the last 20 minutes, where you always look good against people that are tired.
Kat, we know that Owen Farrell has basically spent the last February 2021. He last started at fly half for England, so he spent all of that time basically out of position. What do you think he's now going to bring to this jersey that he hasn't really had the chance to do over that period of time?
To really make a mark on the game, and you can do that more from 10 than you can from 12, and he is probably not words normally associated with it for him, but I think he can be pretty calm and composed, and he can really run that back line. He can boss the forwards. He's a very smart player, a very tactical player. So So having him in at 10 for this game, I think, is a really smart move. And as Danny already said, Smith coming off the bench can really cause some carnage. He does like to get it wide, he does like to put it in behind, and he brings that extra little bit of flair. And rugby is now, you have to play that full 80. You can't put a team away now in the first 60 and just think it's done. So yeah, I really like the combo. And as I mentioned in the build-up, Henry Slade, such an exciting player, and I cannot wait to see him on the outside of Ollie Lawrence.
Yeah, Danny, you have played with Henry Slade. It always seems to me that Steve Borthwick is saying, right, and wanting to balance this midfield, it's actually Henry Slade that is the kingpin, is the key to all of this. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, a beautiful player, not just facially, a beautiful player on the rugby pitch as well. And his left foot, I think having a left foot, I heard Steve Borthwick in the week say his left-footed kicking game is huge for England, to have a right footer and a left footer across that back line, but also his distribution skills. Look, on the bench, on the wing to start with, you've got Ollie Hassel-Collins and Max Malins, two of the most deadliest finishers in the Premiership, and then a young lad called Henry Arundel, who I've just watched warming up, looks absolutely rapid. And when he gets on, you need someone who can put the ball in front of them so they don't have to check, so then the wingers can show what they can do. So Henry Slade does all that. He ticks all those boxes, and he also reads the game brilliantly defensively. So I think he is a key component for England today in that 13 shirt.
Yeah, unless you're driving, in which case don't do this, but if you're not driving, go and Google Henry Arundel's try for London Irish against Toulon in the Challenge Cup, and then you will want to watch this match and wait for Henry Arundel to come on. This kid is box office. Really interesting call that he's made as well, not just breaking up the Smith-Farrell axis. Ben Youngs is not part of this match day 23 at all. That's 122 odd caps gone, Danny. What does it say, do you think, about the way England want to play now that you've got Jack Van Poortvliet starting and Alex Mitchell on the bench?
Yeah, there's 87 set up here that I still reckon he can do his job. I've been a massive fan of Alex Mitchell. He's played so well for Northampton Saints over the past couple of years. I think only picked up one cap, and it should have been so many more, and he can count himself very unlucky. But one thing he will do is he'll add some tempo from the bench, and he will run the Italian team ragged for that last 20 minutes. His ruck speed, I think he tries to get there in under 2 seconds, and if you can do that at international level, if defences can't set, England should score some tries. And you throw Marcus Smith and Henry Arundel on the back of that, hopefully the last 20 minutes could be really, really exciting if you're an English fan.
Kat, when you see the way Ireland are playing at the moment, it's ruck speed, that tempo is everything at the moment. There are teams who are getting the ball away in under 2 seconds. That is rapid.
Really rapid.
Do you think England will be trying to do the same thing with Jack Van Poortvliet and Mitchell involved?
I think they absolutely have to, because defences are so good now and so quick at getting round the corner, bouncing up on their feet. In order to be able to attack broken defences, it's all about the speed of ball. It's got to go quickly. And we all know what Ben Youngs can do, and actually having a look at the young ones coming through and giving them their opportunity as well, because I know we keep going on about it, but there is a World Cup around the corner. So players are going to need to have their game time, their shot, because if it comes down to it, you're always only one injury away from starting in these big games. So got to get them the experience under tough opposition and big test games.
Italy away to my right at the moment, navy blue tops, royal blue shorts. They've just been in a huddle. They're walking now down towards the tunnel. I think once they go in, that's the last we'll see of them out on the pitch before we come out for the anthems. England still going through their paces away to my left. Danny, just how worried, actually, given what we've seen of Italy of late, obviously beating Wales at the end of the Six Nations last year, they beat Australia in the autumn, they ran France really close. France got a big fright in their opening game last weekend. How wary would England be today of this new look Italy?
Yeah, I was speaking to a few England fans on the way into Twickenham today, and there's a nervous feel. There really is about this game. Normally, no disrespect to Italy, but a few years ago you would say, okay, yeah, it'll be a tough game for 50, 60 minutes, but then England probably should romp it and run away with it and score some tries. This Italy side these days in 2023 does not go away. It nearly beat the French side last week, should have beaten the French side. last week. And I know the French were slightly off it, but you've still got to go out there and perform. And they play some good stuff. And if I was Kevin Sinfield's got a big job on his hands today, because the way the Italians were playing with speed, and Kat talked about speed of ball, with some dynamic forwards, and then you've got Ange Capozzo at fullback, who we watched him warm up. He was making people look silly in defence. He's a wonderful player. If England kicked badly to him today, then he could really spark an Italian shock here.
Yeah, he's box office, isn't he, Kat?
Oh, he's so exciting to watch. I don't care what nation you're from. He's just one of those players that is exciting, and I expect today when he gets the ball, even though we're at Twickenham, there's going to be an air of nerves around it, because he just pulls something out the bag, and really exciting player.
Yeah, these fans here today will be knowledgeable. They'll know all about Ange Capozzo, and you expect the second he gets the ball in his hands, he's one of those players that there's just this air of expectation and anticipation will literally crackle around this stadium. You mentioned Kevin Sinfield there, Danny, and he's a really important figure right now, because England obviously played really well last week in patches, actually, and scored some good tries. The attack, if anything, was very positive. It was defence that actually was England's Achilles heel. How much will they have been working on that this week?
Yeah, I think it would have been a big focus point for them this week. This Italian team aren't going to come here and die wondering. They're going to throw the ball around. They're going to try and exploit England's frailties from last week. And when you've got players like Capozzo at the back, and Tommaso Allen plays the Harlequins, but runs and attacks so well with such good detail. And this Italian pack have got some big men that are going to run hard and create some quick ball, and then it's up to the magicians at the back to try and exploit this English defence.
Yeah, England have just walked off down the tunnel very slowly and very deliberate. Is that planned, Danny? The way you they don't jog down the pitch now. It's very slow, very deliberate. Owen Farrell at the front.
I think everyone's got their own swagger to the walk off from the warm-up. I go for the slow walk, probably because I'm so old these days. I go for the slow walk. Some guys like to run in and bang their heads off the wall a couple of times to get ready. I'll go in there, do my hair, and make sure I'm looking all right.
So what about you, Kat? How did you do that?
Probably quite awkwardly. Generally quite an awkward person. I would always try and embrace it. You want to look around, take the crowd into account, head in, but definitely not banging heads off walls and stuff. I wasn't that hyped, but calm and chill, let's say.
Yeah, well, away on the far side from where I'm sitting, we've got the flags of both nations, England to my left, Italy to my right. They will be unfurled and laid out on the pitch just in the build-up to this game. It was interesting, they're just having introducing the Italian team on the big screen here, and the name Tommaso Allen, Danny, flashed up on there. Somebody you know exceptionally well. He's at fly half for Italy today in the absence of the more established Paolo Garbisi. He plays with you at Harlequins, so you have been his half-back partner. What will England be watching for from him today? Yeah,
Tommaso or Tommy when he's in England, but Tommaso when he's playing for Italy. He runs an attack incredibly well. He's a really brave player, and I mean that he takes the ball to the line. He doesn't mind getting hit as he takes the ball to the line. He's got a lovely pass over the top. So if England do adopt a rush defence, Tommy's great at taking to the line. A little pump of the ball to hold the defenders in, and then throwing a lovely ball over the line to the likes of Padovani and Menoncello. So he's a good operator. 60-odd caps for Italy, been there, done that, and I know he's desperate on this Italian revival. He wants to show everybody how good Italian rugby can be, and they're showing it at the minute.
Yeah, their under-20s captain. Have a look at him online. He came out with a great quote after their game against France last week, which basically said, "We've taken a lot of beep over the years, Italian rugby. Now we are coming for you." And you really do get the sense that Italy have turned a significant corner, as actually their coach, the former All Black, Kieran Crowley, walked straight past me and up to take his position in the stand. So that tells you that we are very, very close to kick-off. Finally, it's all yours, guys. Danny, Kat, what do you want to see from England today, given that it's Wales next, and then they've got 2 huge games to come against France and Ireland.
I want to see confidence. I want to see them having a go, having that balance where they're clinical but can also play a little bit loose as well. And obviously I want to see a win from an England perspective.
Yeah, for me, I want to see a win. I want to see a dominant performance. England should be beating Italy comfortably. I'd like to think England by 12 or 15 today, but I want to see them play quickly. I want to see fans off the seats, and I want to see some exciting rugby.
Okay, well, we know we're about to get are the teams. We're also about to get one of the best anthems, one of the best soundtracks of the Six Nations Championship, which is the Italian anthem. Both teams lining up in the tunnel. The Six Nations trophy sparkling in the slightly grey, overcast day, but it still stands there brightly on a plinth, decorated in the Six Nations ribbons. The teams will know that that's up for grabs should they make hay today. England, maybe Italy, who knows? This is a fantastic match in the offing. It's England against Italy. In the company of, now you've heard them already, Kat Marchant, Danny Kerr, but first, it's a good afternoon again to Claire Thomas.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Well, you might have a fantastic pitch side seat, but let me tell you, up in our commentary gantry, we've got the best ones in the house, and the atmosphere here at Twickenham is already rocking. Very few spare seats here as the final team announcements are made and the teams ready themselves to emerge for battle. If those of you are just joining us here on Sports Extra or on BBC Sounds, let's just quickly give you the lay of the land. England, they are seeking to get their first win under Steve Borthwick to catalyse the evolution under their new head coach. Italy, they're looking to add to their burgeoning scout collection. Gone are the days when the Azzurri would come to Twickenham brandishing just a wooden spoon. No, they've got much heavier artillery these days. They have made quite a habit of defeating Tier 1 opposition in recent times, so don't let the head-to-head fool you. England might have won the 29 previous meetings of these sides, but we could be in for an upset today. As I said, Twickenham is packed. It's an overcast grey day, but it's still as you like, and the track is pretty dry, which will be music to the ears of Ange Capuozzo and the magicians in the back line of the Italians. Teams just preparing themselves, but I've just got a moment to turn to a couple of the former England internationals alongside me. Kat Marchant and Danny Kerr. Did you know that between the pair of you, you've got 11 Six Nations titles and 6 Grand Slams? So I'm counting on you for all the best insight this afternoon.
That's embarrassing though, because pretty much all of them are yours, Kat. So let's talk about you. Come on.
Teamwork. Yeah. How do you think I feel? I've only got grade 5 recorder.
I failed that.
Well, the drums are starting to pick up. Plenty around us on our feet, and the flags begin to unfurl on the green grass here at HQ. The pyrotechnics are warming things up very, very nicely indeed. Our man in the middle today will be James Dolman from New Zealand. Oversaw England up against Australia in the first test of this summer's series. He'll be assisted by TMO Eric Garzin of France, and 2 assistant referees, Mathieu Reynal and Tual Trenini, also of France. They are making us wait. The anticipation is palpable. Kat Marchant, days like this, which are must-win for England. What is the atmosphere like in a dressing room like that? How do you keep the anticipation and the impulsion from tipping over into desperation?
Staying focused and staying calm and just going out and doing what you can do best. That's always the way. Whenever pressure was getting to me or to the team, that's what we did. We brought it back in and went, right, what are you the best at? In your country or in the world, if you're at the top of your game, go out, do that. And if everybody does that in that squad, then that's the job done.
Yeah, I think Kat's hit the nail on the head. It's about doing your job today. It's not doing anything special, not doing anything that no one would expect you to do. You know, just do your job. If that's Owen Farrell, it's kick your goals. It's put England in the Italian half. It's if it's Ollie Chesham, it's get up and contest the line out or get that driving ball going. If it's Maro Itoje, it's be a nuisance. Make your tackles. Don't give away penalties. So for England today, there's a bit of pressure on them. There is. So there's a nervous feel around Twickenham, which there should be, because they need to win. And these are the type of games England should be winning easily.
come the 46 protagonists at the heart of this final match of round 2 of the 2023 Guinness Six Nations. It is loud in here, and that is a sign, that is a marker of how good this Italian outfit are. This is not a gimme. 80 fantastic minutes await us, and the 82,000 gathered here this afternoon. England in their white anthem jackets. 15 hulking figures lining up for the anthem alongside 5 teeny tiny mascots. Just stood 10 metres in from our commentary position. Let's have some anthems. Degli Italiani didn't get you excited for this one. Here's another one to wet your whistle. God save the king here at a packed out Twickenham. This is England up against Italy. Wherever you are listening from, on Sports Extra or on BBC Sounds, you are very welcome along. Kickoff is just moments away. I'm Claire Thomas, I'm alongside Danny Kerr and Kat Merchant, two of the very best who have pulled on those white jerseys in which England are now preparing themselves down on the turf. Some final stumps of tackle pads from the Italians, who look bang up for this one. It's the only way they know how. They are a nation of such passion and pride. They're in royal blue. We quite enjoyed their white kits since we last week, Danny Kerr, with the Italian emblems on the sleeves, but they're back in their traditional strip today. Yeah,
beautiful kit, but the blue against white, it feels right, doesn't it, England? The most interesting thing there I thought about the anthems, Mara Itoje went with the gum shield in for singing the anthem, which was interesting.
That's no good for enunciation. Well, Sonia and the team set this one up very, very nicely. The 2023 Guinness Six Nations has already provided us with a fair few blockbusters, and this one is poised to be just as entertaining. So grab hold of your popcorn and hold on to it tight. Here we go. England left to right. Italy will get us underway. Tommaso Allen bounces the ball, drops it to his laces, spins it on a finger. He looks oh so laid back, but he knows the significance of this. History beckons. This is the best ever Italian side, you could argue. And they've come to a Steve Borthwick England, a fledgling Steve Borthwick England. If there's ever a time to cause an upset, it is today. 80 minutes stands between them and a slice of history.
It's about 30 seconds.
30 seconds until kickoff. So we'll just run you through the players on the field today. For England, it's a front row of Genge, George and Sinclair. Itoje and Chesham, the towering lock forwards. Ludlam, Willis and Dombrandt form the back row. It's Van Portfleet and Owen Farrell wearing number 10 for the first time since 2021. Lawrence and Slade, your centres, and a back three of Hassel, Collins in just his second England appearance, Max Malins and Stewart. Italy, Fischetti, Nicotera, Riccioni, the front row, Canone and Rutzer, the locks, Negri and Lamaro, the flankers, Canone at number 8, Varney and Allen half-backs, Maurici Brex, your centres, Menoncello, Padovani, and their resident pixie, their magician at the back, Ange Capuozzo. What will he do today?
Stay there, yep.
England receive the kickoff.
Use it!
15 metres in, just on the cusp of their own 22, and Van Portfleet picks out Itoje for his first trundle of the afternoon.
Use it!
Van Portfleet
All on!
with the box kick up over the top, right onto the halfway line, fielded by Capuozzo, and there's a sharp intake of breath, as there will be every time this young man gets the ball. Varney, swift ball away, centre of the field now, approaching the Guinness logo, sprayed on the field. Varney from the floor finds Allen, who drops it onto his boot, grubbers it through. Freddie Stewart picks it up, but Italy early penalty. Cat Merchant, will that be a nerve settler for England?
Yeah, that was high tempo right from the start there. A good kick-off receipt and then a good carry off the back of it. But Italy, as soon as they had that penalty advantage, they're looking to put the little grubber in behind. They're going to be testing that England back three today.
And an early chance for the visitors to make some territorial inroads. Allen sprinkles a bit of grass, gets a read of the wind, kicks it across the pitch to the far touchline. And Hassel Collins almost executing a lovely bit of skill there, Danny Kerr, to keep the ball live.
Yeah, he tried to stay in the field of play, would whack the ball back in, but unfortunately just his left foot caught the whitewash. I tell you what, Steve Borthwick will be livid. I'd be livid if I was Steve Borthwick, because you do a good box kick, a good chase, you catch the Italians in the half, and then you don't roll away and give the Italians an easy opportunity to get in your half. Don't feed this Italian team early.
It's a trick play at the line out, down the blind side. Lamaro picking out Rutzer, the lock forward. Italy 5 metres in from the far touchline and just inside England's 22. Ferocious counter up. Have Borthwick's side won it back? No, the ball stays blue, and here come Italy to carry from Riccioni, the tight heads. His first appearance since 2021, the South, and it looks though, England making it ponderous for them at the breakdown. Here is Negri. Blindside flanker for Italy, but England penalty.
2 rucks in a row. Italy only had one player in to support. England really spotted that and managed to ruck them off their own ball, and they've come away winning the penalty because Italy last minute then came in, were off their feet. But great spot from England. I imagine that's in their prep beforehand to target that. And Owen Farrell, wearing a fabulous bit of head tape to go with his captain's armband, kicks it up to just shy of the halfway line. Jamie George's first line out of the afternoon. He finds his teammate from Saracens, Itoje, and it's a jog straight up the middle from Lawrence. Borthwick's nominated agent of chaos this afternoon. He will cause headaches for the Italian midfield. England 10 metres in, right up on the halfway line. Nice hands from Ludlam. Slade over the top. Ball bounces loose. Itoje crashes down upon Allen, who does well, though, to keep the ball with the Italians. Ball knocked on. Italy will have the put in the centre of the field.
Yeah, it's a good bit of attack from England. They stretch the ball wide. You could see the influence of Henry Slade there, acting as the kind of the second distributor out the back, with big forwards running hard lines. Henry Slade out the back. Unfortunately, him and Chesham there. Chesham just knocked it on. Ball slightly too high, and another set piece for Italy.
Remember the messages, boys.
Today, Lawrence and Slade at 12 and 13 is the 11th midfield combination that Henry Slade has played in for England. The fact that that is double figures, Kat, how disorientating must that have been?
Yeah, because everybody plays really differently, and so it's really nice when you get that solid 10, 12, 13 that know how to play each other, because it is the fine margins. It's that slight out to in line that you know they're going to run, and that link play that they can go between each other. By the way, I've got to say, you managed to do a 30-second team sheet for both teams. That's got to be a record, right?
Never managed one that quickly before. It's amazing what pressure can do.
And pronunciation for all the Italians, fair play in all of that one.
Kat, you're making me blush. Keeping me warm. It's not warm here at Twickenham. It's always a microclimate, always a few degrees colder than the rest of London, but hopefully some fizzing rugby will do very nicely to keep us from getting numb toes. Right, first scrum of the afternoon. Varney with the put in. It's white packing down against blue. Our first look at the piano pushers of England and Italy, and they get to work. Italy keep it in at the back, looking to draw the penalty, but it's England who have it.
England are going to have to be happy with that one. First scrum of the game, they want to be dominant. That was one of Danny's words that he wanted to see from them, a dominant performance. So first scrum, looking to really make their mark. They put that Italian scrum under real pressure and come away with the penalty.
Yeah, the big boys looked happy there, didn't they? First scrum, first opportunity to go literally head to head in a bit of a physical confrontation, and England get a good opportunity here to launch an attack play.
5 metres out of the Italian 22. Jamie George plays it short to Lewis Ludlam, who brings it down. It's out the back through the hands now of Van Poortvliet. Lawrence has another direct carry. Here is Genge, lovely delay pass, finds Farrell, drops it to his boot, grubbers it through. Max Malins is in hot pursuit. But Eduardo Padovani, the covering defence for Italy, does well to defuse that one.
Really good cover defence there, because that was fingertip stuff, like almost there to get the try, but really good scanning, nice tactical play as well. Some lovely inline runs as well. Lawrence does so well to draw defence in, which then means there are gaps out wide, but it's a beautifully nudged grubber right across. Actually could argue potentially could have been a bit wider on the outside, so a bit of an out to in run, which makes those grubbers much easier to field.
I think we talked before the game about speed of ball being so important there, and with Ollie Lawrence crashing the ball up there, he's so powerful. You do get quick ball, and that's what we wanted to see last week. Jack Van Poortvliet then whipping the ball out quickly with big runners, with options at the line, and they chose to put the kick through. And now a scrum here on the 5 metre line.
You're listening to England up against Italy, the final match of this second round of the Six Nations. 6 minutes played, 2 bagels on the score sheet right now, 0-0 at Twickenham. Italy with the put in and under all sorts of pressure. They're 5 metres in from this near touchline and 5 metres out from their own try line. England won a penalty at the last scrum. They will look to turn the screw here. Varney in his yellow boots pops it in, but our referee will reset that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, thanks.
I think what will be really interesting to see this week is if the Italians have learned from their mistakes from last weekend. We couldn't believe it how loose they were in trying to exit in their own half. I think this week we might not see them running it out as much. They might just play one phase, hit up, kick the ball down the field, or kick the ball off the pitch and get out of their own 22.
I have been thinking about their exit strategy all week, Danny. Danny and I covered Italy against France last week, and their insistence on dropping it back into the pocket was costing them precious metres. But here we go, second time of asking, still just 5 metres out from their try line. This time it's Lorenzo Canone, the baby brother of the two Canones, who carries it from the base. Back into the pocket, Allen has it and opts to run it, dances down the blind side. Picks out Lamaro on his inside, the skipper, he places it backwards. Italy are going to look to run it by the looks of it. 10 metres out from their try line. Varney now hoists it high with a clearance kick. It goes straight into touch. And Italy clearing their lines and find themselves about 5 metres outside of their 22.
Yeah, we say we hope they learn from their mistakes and start kicking it instead, and there they go running. But that did look more organised than last week. Last week, a big issue was the fact they didn't look like they knew who they were passing it to then run it out the 22.
George hits the tail of the line out, finds Chesham. It's knocked on by Willis. Italy turning it over and now have a chance to exit even further. Negri, little dummy, but driven backwards. Read very well there by Jack Willis. Ball's back to Allen. He has a kick up over the halfway line. It's going straight out on the full. That's the second time England have run that really hard flat line, and actually the ball has ended up going forward. It's almost like they're a little bit too keen. Just give yourself an extra metre of depth or a half second, time it later, because at the minute there's needless pressure that they're putting on the pass and the take.
I think that goes with what you were saying about combinations as well. Last week it was Ben Curry in the 7 shirt, he's out. Jack Willis comes in, might take a little bit longer to run that play than Ben maybe did the week before. It takes time to get those relationships going. You only do that by playing together, and if you keep mixing and matching the players, you're probably going to make more mistakes.
And what makes this so exciting is that in years gone by, Italy was the game to take those risks and try those combinations, but it's no longer the case, is it, as England come up with the ball from that scrum.
Italy really struggling in that scrum. That's 2 out of 3 which they've either had a penalty or a free kick from. So, and England now have called the scrum again. Strong choice from them if they are dominating to try and either play for the penalty or just to time in and give that back line some room.
So that scrum taking place 10 metres outside the Italian 22, 10 metres in from the touchline. Just a reminder of your front rows: Genge, George and Sinclair for England, Fischetti, Nicotera and Riccioni for the Italians. Just one change amongst those 6 from the sides that ran out in the opening round. That is Riccioni, tight heads for the Azzurri. And he's not having a very nice time on his introduction to international scrummaging. They will stand up again. I think the referee might have a word with the captains here.
Come this way, guys. Come this way. Just for me on that one, if you keep up rather than down, then I'll watch. And boys, don't step back on the hit, okay? Don't take the hit, please.
Danny, if you were Van Poortvliet at this moment, what are you looking for? Because we've got the Italians spread out very nicely, covering the entire backfield. England, though, all on the open side.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of space. So the Italians, England are stacked 2 in behind, which means they could go right or they could go left. The Italians, there's a lot of space in that backfield, so there's a lot of work for either the winger or the 15, a lot of space for them to cover. So I expect England to play quickly here, maybe with a little wraparound play. They're going blindside.
Well called by Danny Kerr, 87-time England international. Jack Van Poortvliet misses out by a matter of inches on a lovely little touch finder. It goes out into the dead ball area. Italy will bring it back, but the pressure, 10 minutes played and neither side yet to register a score in this match, all on the Azzurri.
Yeah, England are really doing well to put it in behind. However, when there is a blindside move like that, I just like to keep it in hand, punch in. You can then keep and build on phases. We're kicking a little bit too much ball away for my liking.
Allen takes the drop out from beneath the post and offsets John Brandt. A sizable man with a sizable box of tricks, but he opts just to carry that one, and England find themselves just on the Italian at 22 with an advantage. They've a free hit here, and the penalty is awarded.
Your hands go past the ball first.
Barring that opening infringement by England, Danny Kerr, every single penalty has come the way of the hosts.
Yeah, the Italians have found themselves on the wrong side of the refereeing whistle at the minute, which is not where you want to be in international rugby. England can hear from the cheers, going for the corner, which is great. I think a big thing, England need to get this crowd back on side. In the autumn, it was tough going here, and there was some boos. England need to get fans cheering off their seats at Twickenham. There's been a bit of criticism towards the England fans at the moment. Let's see if they can get them off their feet now.
Jamie George, part of a partnership with Danny Kerr. Anton Deck, I believe they were known, in the England camp. He picks that Maro Itoje and 5 metres out. You can hear Twickenham lifting them, driving them over the line. And England with the first points of this match. Jack Willis with a score on his return to international duty. Danny Kerr, you talked about getting Twickenham back on side. Just listen to that roar.
There we go. That's what we live for. The Twickenham roar. 5 points at Twickenham. Seeing everybody off their feet cheering. It wasn't the most amazing try, but I think it's the way England are trying to play. They're trying to put the ball in behind Italy, get opportunities to score and take them. And here's a simple maul Jack Willis breaks through, one of the most powerful players you'll come up against, and it's a great score for England.
I think a lot of forwards out there will be quite anti that comment if it's not the greatest. But no, I love the confidence to, instead of take the 3 on offer, to back themselves, to go for the corner with the line out, and then lovely executed play, get him over the line, and really great that it's Jack Willis as well to be the man to put it down after his injury 2 years ago.
Owen Farrell doing his best Mr. Bump impression, lining up the conversion right on the 22, 10 metres in. He struggled off the tee last week against Scotland in the Calcutta Cup, uncharacteristic that. But as he goes through his pre-kick routine, no doubt he will have put that from his mind. He's a man who plays the game with his head on ice. Such a cool customer. Italy looking to put pressure on it. But the captain unperturbed, the flags go up, he makes it a 7-pointer, and 14 minutes played at Twickenham. England leads 7-0.
Yeah, it's not been amazing rugby, but England have done what they needed to do. What you've got to do against Italy is don't let them score early, don't give them an intercept, don't give them a slip into the game. Just get down to their end of the field, put 7 points on. Now it's all about the exit, a clean catch, exit, chase, don't give away penalties.
We have seen so much in the opening 2 rounds of this tournament, how often a score is followed by a fluffed restart, but John Brandt gathers that one nicely, charges over the top of the first tackle, and England up on the edge of their 22. It's back to Slade, who drops it onto that famous left boot of his, sends it up to almost the halfway line. No, actually, tell a lie, just in between the 22 and the halfway line. But at least the restart was clean, Cat. You were nodding next to me as I said that.
Oh, it's so important, because it's the mindset after you score. You're either hungry and want to go again, or you relax, and that's what a lot of the time happens. Relax, and then you lose sight of the ball, and then you give attacking platform to the opposition again. But England didn't do that. Italy's drills looking nice. Morisi carries it into the centre of the park. It's a big hit from Itoje on one of the Italian forwards, but it's still with them. Ruzza has a carry. Oh, there is a player down and struggling to get to his feet. Lawrence puts in an almighty hit of his own. Italy near this near touch line, and Capozzo has the ball under one arm. Pirouette spins on those electric feet of his. Italy right in the centre of the pitch now. Here is Ruzza with a carry, the Benetton skipper, wearing the colours of his country. It's Varney up against the Itoje on the floor. What a mismatch that is, but the scrum half just about presents it backwards. Capozzo in its scrum half, the position he used to play as a teenager, so he's very familiar with that as he picks out Italy again, and he's still playing number 9. Varney slow to get to his feet. Italy on the halfway line. Varney finds Allen. Brex, the outside centre, with a ball, but going backwards, the Azzurri, they're making no inroads. Such is the veracity of this England line speed. Genge adds another tackle.
Hold here, Blue, hold here.
And again, forced to kick from their fly half in order to ease some of that pressure. It's into the breadbasket of Stewart, who really has become the first name on that England team sheet. He kicks it, chases his own, but Capozzo skips from his clutches. Italy 10 metres outside of their own 22. Down the blind side they go. Allen with a carry. Try scorer Willis wraps him up. Ruzza plucks it from the ground and has a carry of his own. Approaching the halfway line again, Italy. 16 minutes played. England leading by a converted try here at Twickenham. Brex. Now a carry from Negri. Born in Zimbabwe. Grew up playing in the South African school system, and all of that physicality embodied in that carry. Nicolo Canone finds Brex, cute little pass to Nicotera. Ball is messy, it's loose, over the top goes Lawrence, but Italy were playing under an advantage and have the penalty. Breathless. The England defence there went from the 10-metre line and marched Italy back to their own 10-metre line. So 20 metres of pressure of putting them on. But eventually that pressure unfolded. They are getting themselves a little bit tight. The line speed is fantastic, but they are sending players up in ones. When you do that, you shorten up that defensive line, and there are going to be opportunities out wide, which with this Italian back three, you don't want to give them. The voice of someone who knows a thing or two about playing in a sparkling back three. Cat Merchant World Cup winner. I'm also alongside Danny Kerr. And Danny, I'd just love to know from your perspective, the boos at Twickenham, in the Awesome. How alien were they to here, and what a relief is it to be back at somewhere with a bit of feel-good factor to it?
Yeah, it's great. It's a horrible place to be at Twickenham, full when you get booed. It's happened a couple of times in my time with a couple of suspect kicks I've chose to do. But to see the whole team getting booed off the field a couple of times in the Awesome was not nice. And it hurts. That really does hurt. These people are paying good money, a lot of money, to come and watch England play. So they expect a certain amount of standard, and they expect England to win. Every game England play at home, you're expected to win.
Personalised boos. Now that's got to be a tough one to take. They were specifically booing your kick. But yeah, that's a tough one to take.
They were bad. They were really bad kicks. I remember one against Italy here where I generally put it behind. It was a box kick. It went behind me, and I was like, okay, someone please clear that up. It was an Italian player that cleaned it up and then scored. So yeah, there was a few boos followed by a few giggles that day.
Spillage on aisle 10. Spillage on aisle 10. Well, we're just going to draw your attention to something taking place out on the pitch, because Michele Lamaro, the Italian skipper and open side, has just stood up with meters worth of tape around his left quad. He was the player hit so hard by Mauro Itoje a few phases back in that passage of play, and he's ginger on his feet. As a talismanic captain, Danny, how much of a loss would it be if he weren't at 100% for this one?
Oh, it's huge. Lamaro made more tackles than anybody else in the Six Nations last year. He is their talisman. He is their go-to guy. We saw this big screen. Mauro's knee went straight into the middle of his hip, middle of his thigh, and I think we all know how painful that is.
Oh, dead legs are the worst, especially when you're doing all the dog work and doing all those tackles. You don't want a dead leg with it.
Allen, the fly half for Italy, used that penalty to drill his way up towards the 22, and that's where Italy are now playing off the back of that line out right before the post. The blue shirts coming in waves. They've not yet made it, ball in hand, into the England 22, but here's an opportunity, and Lamaro doesn't seem too uncomfortable. Lovely ball inside, and Capuozzo stretches his legs for just a moment. You could feel the excitement crank up a notch at Twickenham. They're into the 22, but the ball has been stripped, but knocked on in Italy with the penalty. And finally, some real territorial gain.
Oh, it's the injection of pace as well that Capuozzo just be able to put onto it, and there is an air of excitement whenever he gets the ball, and you could feel that around. I think us three all kind of got on the edge of our seats as well, because you just expect something to happen when he has the ball in hand.
Allen now with the opportunity to send it down towards the corner flag. He put an absolute peach out on the park in Rome last week, didn't he, Danny? Some of his kicking for touch was exquisite.
Yeah, he's a world-class kicker. I think you can see the tactic Italy are trying to do. Because of England's aggressive defence, that England are racing around the corner to try and get off the line with line speed. The Italians just operating down that short side. Couple of phases open, back down the short side, trying to keep them honest.
Now, Nicotera looking to execute his first attacking line out of the afternoon. England 7, Italy 0. 19 minutes on the clock. It's bright and still here at Twickenham, but he plays it safe anyway. Short line out ball, picks up the look forward, Nicolo Canone, and the maul begins to grind. It's brought down right inside this touchline. It's slow ball for Varney, the scrum half. He picks out Nicotera. Patient, repeated efforts from the Italians, looking to string some phases together. This is the first time they've been banging on the door of the England try line. They have to make it count. Varney picks out Rutzer, driven backwards. Huge double tackle from Ludlam and from Sinclair. They go again, the Italians, right before the posts. 5 metres out, trailing by a converted score. Varney ducking his head now is Morisi. Varney again, right coast to coast they go. Italy right on that far touchline now. Morisi places it backwards. Varney again. 9 phases the Azzurri have played. Blue waves crashing on the shore here at Twickenham. 10 metres out, but the ball is knocked on. England with a crucial turnover.
And England's defence again is relentless. That, you're on your 5 metre line and they're managing to push them just back, even if it's just a metre at a time. It's quite demoralising as well for the Italian attack to be going backwards. So credit where it's due. England not panicking, just going through their phases, not giving penalties away, just staying strong, staying set and working together.
Danny, who's the defensive lead in this current England squad? Who's spearheading that?
Owen Farrell normally is the eyes, the ears, the noise, normally the voice. You can hear that those Wigan tones. Cohen, you can hear him cheering for the big hits. He's like having a defensive coach in your team, because he's that loud and he's screaming off you to get off the line. And when you put in a big hit there, like Jack Willis and Alex Donbrand did, Owen will be the first one over there congratulating them.
Van Poortvliet with the push in. England 10 metres out from their try line, and with another scrum penalty.
Stepping back on the hit.
This one's been low scoring so far. It's not been glitz and glamour, but when it's come to the sleeves up, heads down, hard shoulders stuff, England is certainly coming out on top.
Yeah, they're getting destroyed in the scrum at the minute. They need to find out a way very quickly to try and rectify that, otherwise it just gives England easy outs all game to get field position.
And the ball is booted right out to that far touchline, right on the halfway line. Jamie George heads over. The Saracen, the British and Irish Lion, but wearing the white of England today. He picks out Chesham, who won more line-outs in round one than anybody else. And what a line that was from Lawrence. Collective intake of breath at Twickenham. 82,000 people feeling incredibly glad it wasn't them on the end of that one. England on the halfway line.
Hold there.
Fairly central here, and a Itoje into by Van Poortvliet, a couple of precious inches as he clears that one up and over, and Malin sets off in hot pursuit. The ball is loose, and Italy with the penalty.
14, you've pushed the man off the ball. 14.
Malin's deemed to have pushed the player off the ball whilst going for it. Obviously you can't touch a player in the air, but that was before he wanted to move out the way so he could go for it, but can't do that, so referee penalised him, and now Italy are right back into their half. And concerningly, Lamaro, with a puff of his cheeks and a shake of his head, is looking in some considerable discomfort, but he's staying on. He's gone to join the line out. The thing with dead legs is sometimes you can run them off, but when other than that, when the blood starts going into it and it starts swelling, they can become really, really uncomfortable. So he's going to want to try and survive till half-time, get some ice on it, get that swelling down, and because they'll need him in this game for a full 80 if they can.
It's going to be a sore one tomorrow, that cat, isn't it? There's nothing worse. You get a dead leg, you think you can run it, you can't run it off. He's taking him off there.
Well, what a blow to the Italians that is. Michele Lamaro, their captain, fantastic. He exits, and on in his place comes Manuel Zuliani, his teammate at Benetton, but vastly less experienced in this arena. Here go the Italians, right in the centre of the field. Their line-out is sticking. Their scrum might be struggling, but they're making that particular set piece purr. Carry from Negri. Now Niccolò Canone. Jack Willis flying from the line to take out Allen, but the ball was away and clear. Brex has it now in the centre of the field. England 7, Italy 0. Italy need to make some hay, and soon. They're struggling to get a foothold in this game, and there's another blow. England come up with the penalty, and it's Jack Willis who's having a stormer at the heart of it.
He just looks hungry. He's hunting down those tackles. He's putting in big hits, but he's involved in the breakdowns as well. Great energy from him, absolutely.
Kind of the third coming of Jack Willis, this, because he was selected for England duties in 2018 to go on tour of South Africa, bust his knee playing in the Premiership, came back, got himself a cab, and then it was playing against Italy 2 years ago that he had that horrendous second knee implosion. We've scarcely seen him, Danny, but just how good of a test match animal could he be?
He's an unbelievable rugby player. He's had to be incredibly patient. I toured with him in Australia in the summer. He didn't get an awful lot of game time because Tom Curry's been ahead of him, but he's a guy that when give him his opportunity, he'll probably be the best player on the park.
What a claim that is. Here go England on that far touchline, 10 metres in, right on the Italian 22. The maul is stalling, it's slowing, but I think they might have a free hit here, England. It's going nowhere quickly, but they are hell-bent on making progress into the 22 now. Italian bodies swarming, all those blue jerseys in and amongst the white ones. Ball is out, it's with Slade. Now Hassel-Collins, he knocks it forwards, but England did have the insurance policy there. We'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, a few times now, just that fumble through playing flat, which is credit to the Italian defence to be up in the England's attacking in their face to make them make those errors. But he'll be disappointed with that one because we want to see him with the ball in hand because he's such a sharp, fast player. We want to see him in a little bit more space.
Your inside bind is lost because the shoulder has come off.
25 minutes gone at Twickenham. Both of these sides searching for a first win of their Six Nations campaign. England came unstuck here against Scotland last week. Italy were oh so close to a giant slaying out in Rome. They led France with 18 minutes to go, but they trail England today. 7 points to 0 the scoreline. Jamie George on that far touchline, 5 metres out. The hooker finds his man. It's Ludlam who rises the highest, and heave cry the Twickenham faithful. It worked the first time around. Will it be a second maul try for the hosts? Now it's making some progress. Oh, but the splinter group's been driven backwards in England with another penalty. You can't help but wonder if the referee will reach for his pocket shortly.
Yeah. Thanks. Who's captain, guys? Thanks.
Can I listen? No.
No, don't need you. Okay, so we had entry here, and then number 1 is entry again. Okay, I need the discipline at more time to increase here, please.
Can I ask you?
That's the message. Yeah. If you want to have a talk, have a talk.
Gotta love that from Owen Farrell. Can I listen?
Okay.
No. Go away.
Okay.
But it just shows as a leader he wants to hear what's happening.
Entry.
He's probably putting a little note into the referee's head like, actually I want to listen to this because I'm thinking it should be a card. That kind of subtle or not so subtle end.
England just playing a really smart game there. There's nothing subtle about what England are trying to do here. They're putting the ball close to the line. They're going to throw the ball into a line out. They're going to maul, and they're probably going to score another try here. They're just doing the simple things really well this game.
England set up, plenty of men committed to this one. George this time picks out Dombrandt, 10 metres in, 5 metres out. Big old shove from Italy, immediately stymied that maul, but it's still up. England with the advantage. Van Poortvliet slapping Rutzer. The Italian look forward, looking to disrupt at the back of that one. Told to use it once. England with the advantage. Farrell kicks it high, it's arcing, it's looking for Freddie Stewart. Capuzzo, there was a huge height mismatch, but the Italian fullback did brilliantly to stop that one, but we'll come back for the penalty, and the referee calls time off.
I don't know what your thoughts are about this, Danny, but whenever there's a penalty advantage, it's always cross-field kick. Whereas actually it's an opportunity for a free play and to get the ball out wide through the hands. I just wonder sometimes if it's just that, penalty advantage, yeah, we just kick it without even scanning to see if it's on.
It's a really tough one because the height difference between Freddie Stewart and Capuzzo, you go, Freddie probably will score this, and the French scored 2 from cross-field kicks against Italy last weekend, so I get where they're coming from, but also I think England could just look after the ball on the line and score points here, which I think they're going to go for a little quick tap move from Ellis Genja.
They have the man advantage because Italian number 8 Lorenzo Canone has gone to the bin, offsets Ellis Genge, the baby rhino, but all grown up these days, vice captain for England. He has a carry, and England's forwards get to work. It's Jack Willis hunting for a brace, carries up 2 metres from the try line now. England, Itoje in its scrum half. Here is Sinclair.
Ball's available
the
here.
Bristol Bear adds another metre. They are so close now. Rummaging for it is Genge, who has a go, dives over. England have their second, and it's the first Test match score for Ollie Chesham. What a moment for the young look forward. England lead by 12.
It's a brilliant sleight of hand here. I think it's Ellis Genge who's on the ball, and everybody in that position thinks it's just going to be another pick and go and another drive, but Ellis Genge looks like it's going to do that and just lifts the ball to Ollie Chesham on a really hard line from 2 metres, which is incredibly hard to stop. Great bit of interplay between the old Leicester Tigers teammates.
Yeah, and it's the ability to do that, having front row players that are confident enough to, as they're carrying, to then tip on to that brilliant line from out to in as well to get the score, because it makes it so much harder to defend than that stereotypical pick round the corner when you're 5 metres out. It's a straightforward conversion, and so it proves for captain Owen Farrell. 14-0, England lead at a sold-out Twickenham. You're listening on Sports Extra or BBC Sounds to our coverage of the Guinness Six Nations. We'll bring you coverage of every single fixture. I'm Claire Thomas, and delighted to be alongside Kat Merchant and Danny Kerr as England look to get their first win under Steve Borthwick in the bag. They're up by 2 converted scores here as Tommaso Allen gets us back underway. Sends it into the England 22. It's gathered by Dombrandt. Ball in one hand, bounces off one, bounces off 2. Torpedo-esque from the Harlequins number 8.
Van Poortvliet, the scrum half, at the base of that one, kicks it up over the top. Ludlam chasing that one down. It's Capuzzo. Oh, he clashes with his own teammate there, Padovani. England able to regather that one, but snatched in the midfield. Ball was knocked on. England will have the puss in.
Ellis Genge got a little bit too confident with his last pass that would turn into a try assist. He tries to throw a 20-metre no-look spiral pass straight to the Italian.
Potentially a try assist for Italy instead. 1-0.
Yeah. Luckily they had the advantage and it'll be a scrum to England.
There will never be a more ridiculous try assist than the one given for the pass to Duhan van der Merwe before he promptly beat 6 defenders en route to a try for the ages just here last week. Van der Swerve they're now calling him, which is pretty good, I reckon.
Coach!
So England with the put in just inside their own half, 10 metres in from the far touchline. Before the pack's out stands the lights, just beginning to fade at Twickenham. The floodlights are on, illuminating a side up, 14 points to the good with half an hour played.
Thinking about dead legs in a Sevens World Cup, actually, I got a dead leg and then the next play's got a dead glute. And when your one job is to run fast, it's a pretty tough ask.
Let's go again. Too much pressure, guys, too much pressure.
We've just seen a couple of tackle stats, and Jack Willis, with half an hour played, has made 14 tackles. Is that sustainable, Danny?
Hold your weight.
I mean, not for me. That's more than me all season, I think. But no, that's what Jack does. He runs around the park and hits people very hard, and he'll do it for 80 minutes if he gets the opportunity. Like I say, a guy who's waited for his chance and waited very patiently, and he's going to take it.
He did it for Wasps for years. He's doing it for Toulouse right now in the top 14, and here he is on the biggest stage of them all, the Six Nations, doing it with a rose on his chest as Owen Farrell kicks a vertiginous effort up over the top. It's Lawrence who plucks it, kicks it inside, tried to be a bit too cute there, coughs possession up. Capuzzo has it right before his post, 10 metres out. Slalom's one, but eventually brought down. Italy with the ball right before their post. Varney. Well, there you go. You don't get many clearance kicks from loose heads, but Danilo Fischetti clearing Italy's lines for them, and fairly nicely indeed, Cat Merchants.
Yep, saw Genge do a little nice offload, and he thought, I'm going to one-up him. I'm going to kick to the touch. But this is how this Italian side play, though. They do play with confidence. They play with the freedom that doesn't matter what number is on your shirt. You just get to go out and play.
It's England's line out. George finds it Toje. Here's John Brandt on a siding inside line, but driven backwards. What a pile driver that was. A double hit from blue-jerseyed Italians. Van Poortvliet, Genge. Little tip pass, finds Ludlam, who just grafted and grafted and grafted last week, the blind sides. Farrell with a kick over the top. Doesn't manage to find touch. It's hoovered from the skies by Menoncello. 5 metres out. Italy with the ball. But coming under so much pressure. The territory has been entirely one-sided this. England up 14 points to 0, 32 minutes on the clock. Italy yet to really register a punch here at Twickenham. Nicotera in over the ball. A big, beefy Italian caterpillar for Varney, who sets himself up for a box kick 5 metres out from his own try line. Up it goes. It's just going to head out into touch. Freddie Stewart catches it, will come up for the line out.
England definitely using that tactic in the 22 to kick in behind. They're inviting Italy to play out of it because they're backing their defence to be able to stop them. They know they like to run it out of their half as well. So I really think tactically they've obviously had this discussion. They're saying kick, let's put pressure, defend, no penalties, and now they get the possession where they want it, just outside the 22 with the line out. Jamie George is going to have some sore triceps tomorrow. I lost count of how many line-outs he's already executed. England's maul, pushing hard, hustling hard, just 5 metres shy of the Italian 22. It's Jamie George who has it from the base. Little stutter step and dances over the top of Zuliani. England now punching their way into the 22. Van Poortvliet finds Kyle Sinclair. The granite shoulders of Kyle Sinclair. And here's Jack Van Poortvliet. Lovely snipe from the scrum half. He picks out Genge. England suddenly 5 metres out. Down the blind side they go. Farrell kicks it through. Probing grubber. Will Jamie George get on the end of it? No. Well fielded by Padovani. Danny,
Only 3 minutes
Time off,
left
yeah.
on that Lorenzo Canone yellow card. England have been playing against a 14-man Italy. Should they have more than this in the bag?
Yeah, they should, but this is what the Italians do. I mean, the tactic is working, putting the ball in behind, but when you're that close to the line, I'd just like to see England look after the ball, take the phases.
Okay, stay behind.
They should have probably scored the phase before that they butchered it on
Let's
the
go,
blind
guys.
side.
Time's
But
on.
I think they can maybe overplay the hands sometimes with the kicks, and you've got to play what's in
behind.
front of you a bit more.
Oh, I'd be livid out on the wing there. If that ball just doesn't go through the hands, there is no reason to kick that. You kick to put pressure on or to score, but that one just seemed to give possession away.
Crisis averted for the moment by the Azzurri, but England are back attacking once more. 10 metres outside of the Italian 22. Ludlam has it before the post. Through the hands of the fly half, Farrell. Slade with a pass to the turf. Malins scoops it up, ball in one hand. What a step from Max Malins, inside ball. And Van Poortvliet will glide beneath the post for his third try for England. The place erupts. And the young scrum half proves just why he is keeping hold of that number 9 jersey. England up by 19.
A beautiful score for England there as well. Malins does really well. He picks up a loose ball. Doesn't look like much is going on. And then a great footwork off his right step. Steps back inside, and the really great thing for me was he had a player on his inside or outside he could have chose. So the support play through that line break was really fantastic. Now he opted for the inside, obviously making the kick a lot easier, but great play there.
I just want to check potential obstruction in the midfield as the player's gone through. 2 players running across. There's contact between white and blue. I just want to make sure that there's no foul play obstruction, please.
Okay, checking. No foul play obstruction in the midfield.
The voice of Eric Gauzin, our French television match official, buried away in his truck and just checking that Van Poortvliet score over as Owen Farrell looks keen as mustard to get that conversion knocked over. So, Kat, just talk us through what we're seeing here. This is Max Malins making that mazy little break, finding Van Poortvliet on the inside. What are we checking for?
He was checking for contact of players. There's contact in the middle that they're looking at for who is whether they were offside when they did it. So there's a push. So yeah, I think they're going to have to come back for that one because there's a push off the ball, which means he might not have been able to get across to defend. What do you think, Danny?
I think it might be an accidental. He stood on the back of his heel. I think it's Ollie Lawrence. I think it's with Brex. I think he stands on the back of his heel, and it probably does create the space for Max Malins to score. So this might get chopped off.
So I'm going no try, back for an advantage, okay? So Eric, back to me please, mate.
It's on you.
Yeah, so the white player is in front of the ball carrier and he makes contact with the blue player, so it's obstruction, no try. Obstruction, but you have advantage. White had advantage, okay?
Well, Twickenham was full of booze in the autumn. It's full of booze now, but for a completely different reason. Lawrence costs England 5, possibly 7 points. All of that excitement for nothing. The score back to 14-0. 35 minutes played here at Twickenham. Right decision?
Yeah, I think as Danny, a great spot. It looked like a push from the initial play, but actually just an accidental foot on heel, which has meant him. But if you're in an offside position when you make any contact at all, it's always going to be pulled back.
You'd be livid if you're Jack Van Poortvliet. He's just gone. He's given the absolute large one as well after that dive. Big celebration at home against Twickenham. And it gets pulled back for a trip.
Danny Kay, you're never giving out to someone for celebrating large, for scoring for England.
No, I give it larger. These refs keep ruining them.
5 metres out, George finding Ludlam. England had a third, they had it snatched away, and now they're looking to arm wrestle their way back in front by 19. 36 minutes played in them all. Heading in one direction and one direction only. Try time. And Danny Carrots for your good mate, Jamie George.
Oh, Jamie. The little truffle pig at the back of the ball there just slides over, doesn't he? I called him first try scorer today. I thought he might get one from the maul. It was third. I'm kite off. 2 tries out. But England just doing the basics really well. They know they've got the Italians up front. They've got them in the scrum. They're dominating them in the scrum. And they're absolutely dominating them at the maul. So why would you change? Steve Borthwick could be very happy with this first half.
Yeah, dominating the set piece is so key because it is always going to keep this Italian side under pressure. Is he going to forgive you for calling him a truffle pig?
I call him it regularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
A term of endearment. Yeah, right. Jamie George loves scoring against Italy. That was his 12th try for England, and 5 of them have come against this particular opposition. I don't know what it is, but this truffle pig likes an Italian variety of truffle, apparently.
He does enjoy Italians.
So, England up by 19 points at Twickenham. Will Owen Farrell make it 21 to bring about some real feel-good factor at the end of this half. It's his toughest conversion yet. 5 metres in from that far touchline, right on the 22. He sways on the spot. As before us, Lorenzo Canone circles his broad shoulders. The young number 8 about to come on and level the players on the pitch. The flag stayed down. That's 2 points gone begging, but England still up by a healthy margin. 19-0 they lead at Twickenham with 2 minutes left of the half. And the energy's just picked up a little bit, hasn't it, Cats?
It's the crowd getting in behind their England team. It's the England team knowing that their go-tos are going well for them, so to keep doing it and just building confidence, building belief and putting in a good performance. John Brandt with the restart once more, and he charges onwards. A white-clad bowling ball. Just look at those Italian skittles scatter. Van Poortvliet up over the top. Box kicking a lot more than they did against Scotland last week. Wonderful take from Padovani, the Italian winger in the centre of the field. They have it again now. Riccioni with a carry, the tight heads. Italy, well, one more bite at the cherry in this second half. A beautiful one-handed take on the halfway line by Allen, the fly half. Blue shirts pressing onwards now. There's an urgency about them. They know that they have to stem this flood. Back the other way they go. Allen finding Nicotera, dips his taped head and charges into the English defensive line. Here is Capuozzo, crabs his way infield. Here is Brex now, fizzes the ball out. There's just too much on it, and even the telescopic arms of Rutzer couldn't cling on to that one. Ball into touch, England with the line out. You can see why Italy want to do that though as well. They do have their wingers out in space. England are doing really well to defend, but they're doing it quite tightly. They're putting pressure on in the middle, but there are gaps out there, so you can see why they're trying to do it, but it's just forcing the extra pass. Lawrence caused that last try to be chalked off, making up for it with a heavy carry through heavy traffic in the centre of the pitch. It's a bouncing pass scooped up by Stewart. Here is Ollie Hassel-Collins, the man with the finest manicure in the Guinness Six Nations, and also a filthy step on him. We'll talk about his nails a bit later if we get time. They work remarkable. Sinclair carrying in the centre of the field now. Owen Farrell finds the second distributor. Slade, Don Brandt on the wing, bumps off Stephen Varney with complete disdain. England 5 metres in. Here is Itoje. Farrell, centre of the field, spins through the tackle, finds Saracens' teammate Itoje. Before the post now, England 10 metres shy of the Italian 22. The clock is in the red. England up by 19 points to 0 here at Twickenham, the final match of round 3 of the Six Nations. We're live on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds, and Ludlam, surprise, surprise, is adding to his workload. Over the top, Van Poortvliet chips it over. It's scooped by Owen Farrell, but just knocked on, to the disappointment of everybody gathered here. That will do us for the half. 19-0. England leading. It's a high five between Van Poortvliet and Farrell. Danny Kerr, you've jogged to the sheds in an England jersey 87 times. What have you made of that first half?
Well, normally I'm on the bench, so I'm actually normally just sat down there, just trickle in and give the lads a drink about now. But no, the lads will be very happy with that. 19-0, could have maybe been 26 with a little try there at the end, but these are the type of games against Italy where you just got to get points above. You've got to get points on the scoreboard, dampen all their hope, dampen all their spirits. England are well on top of set piece. The Italians keep giving away penalties, and England will be licking their lips for this second half.
Yeah, they're going to be happy with the first half performance. They have been dominant, but also they're not just flinging the ball around when there's half gaps. They're sticking to structure, they're building the phases, and they're coming away with the well-needed scores that we, as England, all want to see them get. The question on everybody's lips before this match was, how would England cope with Owen Farrell at fly half and Marcus Smith nowhere to be seen for now? Your verdict on the 40-minute mark?
I think what it's shown is England have had another week together. I think they look like their attack especially, and their defence, but their attack needs time. You can't just throw a framework at a group of lads that are all been at different clubs and say this is how we're going to play. You need to run through it. You need to make mistakes with it, and you need to adapt to it. And it looks like England just know what they're trying to do a little bit more, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We saw for the Van Portfrey disallowed try, they just got the ball to space to people like Max Malins, who then can use his feet and run hard. And the other attack shape that had looked a lot more physical and combative than they were the week before.
Well, 40 minutes played here at Twickenham. England up 19 points to 0 here on Sports Extra. BBC Sound tries for Willis, Chatham and George. But let's get the thoughts of Sonia McLaughlin, who's been pitch side for an entertaining opening 40.
Do you know what struck me? I think wherever Steve Borthwick is right now, don't you reckon he's quietly purring when he sees the way his forwards have gone in that first 40? The scrum, the line out, the driving mauls, all borne dividends, hasn't it, Danny?
I think it's a Steve Borthwick type performance, Sonia. It's a Leicester Tigers or a Saracens type performance over the last few years. This is the type of game that Steve Borthwick loves. He loves to be physical. He loves for England to have that steely edge, and they've been so dominant in the set piece that why would you change it? Why would you change it?
Yeah, just very, very. I think the crowd was so disappointed that try was ruled out for Jack Van Portfrey. It was the most outrageous dummy from Max Malins. Maybe we'll see the backs cut loose in this second half. Thanks to Claire Thomas, to Kat Merchant and to Danny Kerr for now. You guys, you can go and have a sort of well-deserved cuppa at half-time, because that's what some of the England fans are going to often do here as well. This Six Nations Championship, it's been living up to its billing, hasn't it? We were so spoilt, weren't we, by some brilliant rugby yesterday, most notably when the world's top two sides faced each other as Ireland hosted France. What a game of test match rugby. In the end, Andy Farrell's men took that stunning victory. Former Ireland wing Dennis Hickey and commentator Sarah Orchard were the lucky pair who were at the Aviva Stadium yesterday and watched it all unfold.
What a test match we had in Dublin. I mean, 40 chartered flights came in from France for what was being billed as a Grand Slam decider in round two. Obviously, that's all a little bit too early, but certainly there's been a strong French flavour here. Alongside me watching this one was a former Ireland international, Dennis Hickey. How nervous were you on the way in?
I was a little bit concerned around how Ireland would deal with the disruption they have had in the last couple of weeks, not just in the run up to this week. They lost obviously Dan Sheehan. Conor Murray's father was in a very serious accident and is still in critical condition coming into this game. So they were dealing with a lot on the back of Tig, Furlong missing last week, Jameson, Gibson, Park, Keane, Healy. And my concern for this Irish squad has been, do they have the depth, particularly do they have the beef in 23 and beyond the 23? But the physicality that Ireland managed to bring to this game, they managed to replicate the levels of physicality they had last week in Cardiff. They were very effective going to the gain line, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the game, I could see that Ireland were well set and were in a good position. So I was nervous, but my nerves obviously...
well, you're smiling at me now.
I'm sure I am smiling, yeah, exactly.
You should be as well. Ireland 32, France 19, how it finished. The bonus point for Ireland as well. Now, you mentioned in the build-up to this about what has happened in this week to Conor Murray. Of course, we wish him and his family well in what has been an incredible, stressful week for them. He actually came off quite early in the second half. You do perhaps feel that might have been the right decision. Some of the decisions he was making, you could tell they were very emotional decisions. I can't even imagine being a player and being thrust on this kind of stage and being asked to perform at the highest level. It was a bright spark and a good moment for Craig Casey to come on and show what he could do.
I think for both Craig Casey, I thought, and Ross Byrne, because both those players have been under pressure to prove that they are going to be on the plane to France in the summer for the World Cup, and both of them were involved in what was finishing off and closing out this game, against the second world-ranked team in the world. So it was a really big moment for both of them. Ireland need to have that depth, so he'd be incredibly satisfied, not just with those two guys, but guys like Tom O'Toole, who came off the bench at tight head prop, Dave Kilcoyne, who's come in when Cian Healy's been injured. So it'll be a hugely satisfying win on a lot of different levels for Ireland.
Let's just take a look at the two halves, because they were two very different halves of rugby. In that first half, Ireland, they were just so happy in attack. I mean, a beautiful try by Hugo Keenan. I mean, all smoke and mirrors, and the first thing you turned around and said to me was, straight off the Leinster playbook.
Well, it's an old Leinster move. Like, I recognised it from the Joe Schmidt days. Leinster played Clermont in the semi-final of the Champions Cup, the Heineken Cup as it was, and scored from that exact play. Rob Kearney went up the middle and Cian Healy ended up scoring it. And it's not really. It looks like a very simple play, but it's a complex rolling play because they got to call it on the run, not from a set piece. It's a second or third phase play. They'd nearly gotten over. They'd been held up one of 3 or 4 times that France had held up Ireland over the line. They'd been held up on the line. It was a goal line dropout. They kicked it long, a ruck, and then they were able to play this straight away, and then went straight up the middle. And Keenan, he's a lovely balance run. He had an incredible game. As I said, over 200 metres carried. Another excellent game on top of the excellent game he had last week, and it was a fantastic try. And it just settled Ireland, because France had, they drew first blood, I think, with the penalty, and France were kind of getting into the game. But for Ireland to be able to score like that would have kind of confirmed, I think, a lot of the French worst fears around the complexity and the intricacies of Ireland's plays.
Now, we're speaking a lot about Ireland. That this will be such a disappointment for France. They only scored 1 try in this whole fixture. There were a few bright points that we should talk about. In particular, the scramble defence, and also let's just talk about one particular tackle. It was Antoine Dupont on Mac Hansen, where the Petit General had no right at all to make that tackle and pull Mac Hansen back, but he did it brilliantly. Yeah, and they were so effective in stopping Ireland in the pick and jams, where lots of other teams would have been able to concede tries and not really been able to find a whole lot of blame against them. The scramble defence was all day. So the goal line defence, getting under the Irish pick and drive, but also the scramble defence. And that Antoine Dupont, Ireland broke away. It looked for all intents and purposes like it was going to be a score. And Dupont, huge strength. Hansen, the ball bounced up from, and Dupont came, was able to get just his body in front of him and then drive him back. He's not a huge man, as we know, but my is he strong. I think for anyone else, I think they would have scored. Mac Hansen even managed to bundle him into touch, and it was another opportunity that France had thwarted from their scramble defence. Really, really impressive. And so France will take a huge amount from their defensive effort, which sounds a bit funny when they've conceded 4 points, got 4 tries and a bonus point. But throughout the game, another team could have conceded 3 or 4 more. That was a really bright spark for them. But I was struggling to find, thinking about it, too many other areas where they really kind of put their mark onto Ireland. Well, they just need to give the ball to Damien Penaud, don't they? That was their sort of like one go-to tactic. I mean, we don't have the statistics of how many people he ran round, but there was an awful lot of green shirts left in his wake.
Yeah, his broken field running it really is world class, and Ireland will be annoyed. They'll be frustrated. A couple of times their kick chase, they kicked a little bit aimlessly at times. Ireland probably kicked, I'd say, more in this game than we've seen them in a long time. It was that sort of game. There was a lot of that kind of cat and mouse kicking, but sometimes when it went past 3 or 4 phases and it got loose, Ireland just got a little bit raggedy in that kick defence, and we saw that try from Penaud when he took the ball just inside the Irish half, and he managed to slalom through 3 or 4 would-be tacklers. Not quite in the Van der Meer category, but it wasn't far off. It was pretty impressive.
Now, anyone who was a really keen listener across 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra, you'll have heard this stat. I think it is worth mentioning again. Last week in round 1 of the Six Nations, it was Ange Capuozzo who got the most metres made. He made 114 against France last week. When I talk to you about what this Irish team has achieved, I hope that puts into some sort of context, because first of all, Hugo Keenan 203 metres and Caelan Doris 115. The work rate of this Irish side under Andy Farrell is absolutely phenomenal, and the fact that they compete like that down to the 80th minute with the likes of Josh van der Fleer going right up in the French faces, up and down from the floor like a jackrabbit, it's so impressive.
You know, France would have been prepared for him to be doing the carrying was. They would have known the times Ireland go to him, either from variations of phase play, but yet he's still able to make yards against what was, you know, a very hugely physical effort. You know, some massive hits there, and France has some really big guys. Williams, obviously Antonio, and they put them in position where they can really line up players and make big hits, and Ireland really had to absorb a lot of big hits from the French, and none more so than Doris, James Ryan, Van der Fleer. Those three guys in particular just have huge levels of fitness, and they just give Ireland that go forward ball throughout the game.
Although one hit by Antonio did cost them a yellow card. And of course, next up, Ireland, they'll be travelling to Italy in round 3, and then of course France, they will be welcoming Scotland.
That's Sarah and Dennis Hickey, and don't forget, download the Rugby Union Daily podcast. It's available now and every day, of course, via BBC Sounds throughout this Six Nations Championship. And you also get reaction there to Scotland's very impressive win over Wales at Murrayfield, as they went back-to-back at the start of the championship for the first time since 1996. There is a disco, that's the only way I can describe it, party going on here at half-time at Twickenham, where England currently lead Italy 19-0 in this final game of the second round of the Six Nations Championship. Danny Kerr, it's your old mucker on the decks.
I'm having a lot of fun watching James Haskell try and dance right now, Sonia. It's a sight to be seen, but fair play to him. That boy will do anything for a bit of cash. He's loving life over there.
And do you know what? I think the crowd are responding to him, aren't they? I mean, such a big... You have to say that in terms of a life post-rugby, this isn't just a hobby for him, actually. He's very serious about his DJing, isn't he?
He loves it. I remember a few years ago in camp, he brought some DJ decks in, and we were like, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? Let's just focus on the rugby. And he was like, watch this space, mate. Watch this space. And I don't know what he's wearing either. He's wearing some sort of neon gums. I mean, he's got terrible dress sense anyway, but fair play. He's a bit better at DJing.
He is. Did you enjoy that, Kat?
Oh yeah,
I quite enjoyed
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, good energy. It's nice to see a confident England side, and hopefully in this second half they'll look to open up. We can see those backs get the ball a little bit more as well, whilst they're breaking this defence down.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that, because Marcus Smith, as you started talking, Marcus Smith came sprinting onto the pitch. He's currently wearing a yellow bib, as all the replacements are, and he's just doing a little bit of warming up here just before the team come back out. You know, England's forwards, Danny, have got very much on top here. And I know England really wanted to re-establish their sort of set-piece dominance. How much will it be in Steve Borthwick's mind now that he wants to see a bit more in attack now from England, and maybe to be making some changes vis-a-vis Marcus Smith?
Yeah, I think round about the 60-minute mark, you'd hopefully see a couple of replacements come on. If England can get another 1 or 2 scores and seal the victory and the bonus point, then I think they can then go and try a few things out. And I'd love to see Marcus Smith and Alex Mitchell behind this pack with 20 minutes to go, because England are so dominant over Italy at the moment.
Yeah. The other thing, of course, is if they do bring Marcus Smith on, then what do they do with the midfield? Because you're not going to take Farrell off, are you? Or are you? Are they going to do it as a straight swap? I'd be fascinated to see that. Yeah,
that'll be the interesting thing. Does he take off a Lawrence or a Slade, and does Owen move out one, or do you go, right, we've seen Owen, let's now see Marcus? And I think we talk about the 80-minute performance in that 10 shirt, and I think that could work really well.
Yep, I think that's a good point. The pyrotechnics are going back off here at Twickenham. England's come running out. Ellis Genge is having a right old natter to the referee. I'd love to be a fly on the wall from that one. So we're into the second half coming up of England against Italy. We haven't seen much of Italy in this first 40. What have they got up their sleeves maybe to confront this really strong performance so far from England? We shall see, with Danny Kerr, Kat Merchant and Claire Thomas.
Thanks very much, Sonia. Well, we've had Haskell on the deck, so I'm delighted to say that I'm on the mic alongside. Let's go with DJ DC and Kazza Merch. How does that sound to the pair of you? England will get us back underway. They lead 19 points to 0 here at Twickenham. A ferocious 40 up ahead, because no doubt Italy will want to leave here with at least some points on the board. They were bageled in Rome this time last year. They're a much better side than that nil on the score sheet suggests. And they receive the restart, playing from left to right here at what has been a bustling and boisterous Twickenham, and fending off inside white jerseys is Sebastian Negri, the blind side for Italy. Allen with the clearance kick, drills it right up to the halfway line. It just stays in field, and Farrell spins it to Stewart, who started every one of his 19 caps. But Italy, early momentum in the second half, have a penalty.
Over the ball.
Yeah, that extra roll, which they're so hot on over the last couple of seasons. The laws changed around it. It used to be a really useful thing to buy your team time to get there, which is why players used to do it, but now cannot do it. It's one potentially with momentum and present.
Discipline, very much something that England were getting the edge on in the opening 40. Italy will be delighted to have a foothold in the game and then march their way up to just 10 metres shy of the England 22. Nicotera playing at hooker, just assessing his options as a royal blue and white column match up against one another. It's Lorenzo Canone, who had the yellow card in the first half, who pops it back down, and now a carry from Padovani on the right wing, right before the post. Just approaching the English 22 now are the Italians. Their tails are up. I don't know what head coach Kieran Crowley said at half-time, but they look intent on righting the wrongs of the opening 40. Down the blind side they go. Varney picking out one of his forwards. Nicotera finding Zuliani. Slowly to his feet is Itoje, but he's soon back in the English defensive line. Big double hit from Sinclair and Ludlam coming in, but Varney spins it out. Nicotera, as we saw in the opening passage of this one, Italy stringing together the phases but being driven backwards. Kevin Sinfield's had an extra 8 days with these English players, and you can see it in their defence. It's so intense. Menoncello with a scamper down the far touchline. Here is Allen, the Italian fly half. Niccolò Canone, the older of the two Canone brothers in this ballistic Italian pack. Ruzza delays the pass, picks out Allen. The ball is now with an Italian forward, and Capuzzo sprinkles a little magic on the pitch at Twickenham. He's brought down 5 metres short, bundled into touch. Lorenzo Canone, the ball though still in play. England over it, 2 metres out from their try line. Italy with the ball, looking hungry, eager to open their account at Twickenham today. Niccolò Canone, 2 metres out now. Italy 10 metres in, stringing together some phases. England defending fiercely, but the ball stays with the men in blue. Varney picks out Negri, 1 metre shy now the Azzurri, and again they come. Varney looking to snipe, brought down with a high tackle from Itoje. Italy with a free hit here. They have the penalty, the hand goes up. How about that for a start to the opening second half? Italy bites back. What a riposte from Kieran Crowley's side. They snarl back into life and have 5 points to open their account.
It is brilliant attack from the Italians. The Twickenham crowd is stunned. Maybe they're still getting their half-time pie and the pints, but the Italian, brilliant interplay from backs to forwards, little tip plays. So not just running one-out runners, they're not just running one out into two big English defenders. They're just late minute at the line, just tipping it onto someone who's running at weak shoulders, and then you just see the power of some of this Italian pack with a great finish.
And it's the speed of ball. They're not allowing rucks to happen. It's a tackle and that ball is away, or it's picked, or it's gone, and that's what's tiring this England defence, because it is exhausting to have to defend that speed of attack. So Italy on fire in those few phases there. There are 5 Saracens on the pitch here at Twickenham, and it's the one wearing the blue of Italy who manages to get their first points of the afternoon. England 19, Italy 7, 4 minutes gone. Tommaso Allen slotted the extras. The Harlequins fly half wearing blue this afternoon. Farrell will get us back underway. And just to remind us that all of the 82,000 gathered here, that Italy are no longer also-rans. They come for scalps these days, but it's England who regather the restart, and Lawrence gets them straight into the Italian 22. The inside centre doing exactly what he was picked to do. Malins carving past a couple of blue defenders. 15 metres out now, Italy. England, rather, with the ball. Willis has a carry. He's scragged well by the Italians. Chesham now with the ball, tries score in the first half. Gets them to 15 metres out. Back the other way they go, through Van Portfleet. Itoje, 6'5", a pure world-class irritant, carrying
on the turf of Twickenham. 10 metres out now. Italy defenders clumping around the breakdown. They've been narrowed by the intensity of this English counter-attack. Van Poortvliet looks to go himself. Plenty of white jerseys in support. It's Ludlam playing scrum half. Finds Farrell, delays the pass. What a hit on the skipper. Negri rearranging Farrell's ribs and staying there for a couple of afters. There's a wrestling match on the floor, but play continues in Italy, forcing the knock-on.
I think Van Poortvliet was forced to carry that. I don't think he wanted to have a go himself. Or you can see some afters going on the pitch here. It's been played at feverish intensity the first 5 minutes of this second 40, and it's boiling over there. Italy have come out and been boisted up, definitely, but it's carried on into quite a feisty aftermatch.
Okay, because there's a rep. Yeah.
There's a bit of bump there, there's a bit of niggle in this game. It's brilliant, it's what the game needed maybe. The Italians have gone, we're not backing down here. I think it's Negri on Owen Farrell. Owen takes it to the line. Thanks. Negri absolutely slots him. We're just going to see whether it's fair or not.
Okay.
And a lot of pushing and shoving. Well, that's all you'll see these days.
Referee said not much in that, but that was, for me, hand on the face, pushing him, really aggravating, if nothing else.
But it's completely legal.
It's completely legal, our referee James Dolman just told Alice Genge.
But now's the time to just have a quick word to both your teams. We can't have the carry-on that goes on afterwards. We've checked it. We're going to restart with the knock-on by white to blue, but please have a word.
I read an interview earlier in the week with the Italian skipper Michele Lamaro. He says he no longer asks his men for emotion before matches. He knows they'll provide that. It's all about execution now, and the Italian play with heart, don't they?
Yeah, really, really do. I do think that's unlucky for Farrell there not to get something from that. I thought that, I'm not sure that is legal, having hand in the face and then pushing across, so got away with one there, I think.
First scrum. Hold your weight, please.
6 minutes gone. The intensity of this second half has been absolutely outstanding. Italy leading the second passage of play 7-0 with that opening score. They have the push in at the scrum here, 10 metres from their own try line, 10 metres from this near touch line. Blue packing down against white. Genge, George, Sinclair, Fischetti, Nicotera, Riccioni. That's a better shove from the Italians, who struggled at scrum time in the opening 40, but England pounced on the loose ball. All of a sudden, they have possession right before the post. 10 metres out, it's Itoje. Going nowhere fast, but the ball's out quickly to Genge. Now it's with Willis, who opened the scoring this afternoon. Farrell dances back inside, kicks through a grubber. It's fielded by Padovani, the Italian winger, and he sets off. Ball in one hand, Stewart brings him down. Italy 2 metres from their own try line now, and still insisting on running it out.
Onside.
Kamikaze from the men in blue.
Yeah, that's still in. Stay there. 4-step.
Ball stays with Italy. The referee tells Itoje to get back. Varney chips it out over the top, just clears the Italian 22. It's been breathless this second half.
England not making it easy for themselves, so why on earth would you kick that in that position? I have absolutely no idea. Building momentum, getting some good carries. Actually, just keep that ball in hand. There's no rush in order to score it. Why have the risk putting it in behind? Really, I think just got to have a bit more continuity, keeping the ball alive and playing.
Just hold.
Well, two things taking place on the sideline. One is the arrival onto the field of Pierre Bruno.
So, are we inside or outside?
Scored a trio in the autumn, did the Italian winger.
I will get them in, but step down.
And also the sight of an irate Steve Borthwick, not happy at all with that scuffle on the floor between Negri and Owen Farrell. But it's Jamie George, try scoring the first half. He picks out Itoje with a line out right on the Italian 22. Lawrence has been running hard and fast and direct all afternoon, and he carries it on now. Italy with a penalty. They've just celebrated like a score.
Yeah, it's a crucial turnover right in the middle of the 22, right in front of the post. Ollie Lawrence takes the ball, and I think the England support plays just a little bit late. And a great turnover for Italy, chance to exit just inside their half now. This game's not over, it's game on, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that Italy are really starting to frustrate England in their defence. They're being very smart around the breakdown about when to go for it, when to sit off. So they're allowing England to get isolated because England are thinking they're not putting the numbers in, then suddenly they put them in. So smart play from the defence.
Nicotera will have the line out just inside the Italian half, as on into the fray comes Simone Ferrare, replacing Marco Riccioni. Italy bring it down safely, and in the centre of the field now is Menoncello. It was Marisi who came off for Bruno to come on, so there's been a change around in the Italian backs, but they do have threats all over the park. It's the big men doing the work for now, right in the centre of the field. Varney finds Negri. Allen, another one-handed catch. He's so deft, such a velvety rugby player. Brex has a carry. Back across the field they go. A hit on Kyle Sinclair from Negri, who is taking no prisoners this afternoon. Italy still with the ball, stringing phases together. 19-7, England lead at Twickenham. Ball stabbed through, England turn it over. Padovani with plenty of work to do. Ollie Hassel-Collins and Owen Farrell chase him down. And just like that, England not only with the 20-metre territory gain, but the penalty too. Pendulum swing fast in international rugby, and that was a big moment for the hosts.
Man holding on.
Oh, Sinclair's covered in blood there from that hit, right all over his face. So I think medics are going to want to take a look at him, because that was some knock.
I think Kyle was the second man in. I think it was Ellis Genge that flies out the line, goes with the wrong shoulder, and Kyle Sinclair's the second one. Maybe gets a kick to the face from his own mate.
Takes the entire English front row to try and stop a rampaging Sebastian Negri, and they still didn't manage it.
Yeah, he's got blood here. Time's off.
He spoke in the week about wanting to silence critics this afternoon. Have they been even quietened so far? I think that England we've seen a glimpse of what they can do, and what they now do in this second half will really shine for them. But first half, they have dominated. This Italian team last week really put France to their paces, and a lot of people say should have won. So actually England coming out and putting in this performance and dominating them as they have is a really great thing to see. Owen Farrell puts his laces through it, sends the penalty kick 5 metres out from the Italian try line, as on arrives today's match day programme cover boy. It's Dan Cole, making his 97th appearance in the white of England, 4th of all time. The white jerseys are getting oh so muddy out there, but his is pristine, as gleaming as his head as he lifts Ludlam to receive that line out. Some big men asking awfully big questions as the ball begins to rumble and purr, and England are meter out now, but brought down by the Italians with an advantage. Penalty try given to England. That's the bonus point, and they take a big fat forwards enabled step towards the first win under Steve Borthwick. 50 minutes played, and they lead 26-7 at Twickenham. The England line out has operated so well. The referee said that actually that was always going to go over. There was going to be no other result than a try there, so that's why they've gone for the penalty try decision. And the unit, you've got to say, from this pack, Steve Borthwick's got to be so impressed with.
Yeah, England's so dominant up front. Why would you do anything different? It's the Italians got back into the game with a try. How do you silence that and get back on the scoreboard yourselves? Stick to what you know. Do what the drills that they've been doing all week, I'm sure, in training. Driving ball, try.
Yeah, we said it just before kickoff. Do what you do well, whether that's as individuals or whether that's as a team, and that's exactly what England have gone out and done with their set piece. They also have a man advantage now as they lead full 19 points, 26-7 here, 50 minutes gone.
Holding here, White. Holding.
No sooner had Ferrare entered the field of play than he was yellow carded to go with that penalty try, which of course meant it was a 7-pointer. The conversion is a gimme. Extra points for an England side, starting to gather a bit of a head of steam. Freddie Stewart chasing a high kick right into the centre of the field. Italy have it though, and it's a low questing kick from the scrum half Varney, gathered by Farrell, who returns it. Straight into touch, that one goes, and England marching back upfield into the Italian half yet again.
Yeah, time's off.
Yeah, England just played smart rugby here. They don't need to chase the game. They know the Italians do. Owen catches the ball there in his 22 with all the time in the world and bangs a 40-metre kick and says to the Italians, come at us, try it if you can.
Now, you mentioned critics for sure. Now, I'm sure the media will come out and say, oh, boring England, all they do is kick and all they do is line out. But actually, we want them to win. We want them to win. However, build that confidence, because they do have the ability out wide to carve up as well, and they've just got to stick to processes exactly how they have done so far.
Play on.
Stuck out the line out there. And the ball coming up with England. Inside the Italian half now, 15 metres in. Van Poortvliet whips it away to Genge. Such an abrasive carrier, but he's driven backwards by the Italian defence. Farrell down the short side to Chesham, whose brother Lewis is captaining the under-20s in the tournament taking place at the same time as this one. Willis also has a brilliant rugby playing brother, Tom. Siblings absolutely everywhere in the international game. Van Poortvliet dances back in field. Brought down by Brett. Slade was first in to fizz that one out to Stewards. It's slower progress by England, and Owen Farrell clearly feels the same because he drops it to his laces, and what a touch pointer that was. It's scores which get all the plaudits, but that was a lovely touch from the England captain. Pinpoint accuracy as well, to scan it first of all, have a look, check that the Italian back three were out of position, and then thread it there. I mean, that's got to be a metre from the flag. Beautifully executed kick there.
I mean, if there's one person who knows this turf pretty well, it's Owen Farrell. Centurion not too long ago. He's played so many games here for England and for Saracens, and yeah, just being smart. England don't need to chase the game anymore. If they're not getting momentum, just put it behind the Italians.
And the last thing you want to see as a fatiguing Italian defence is the arrival of Ben Earl. He's just come on to replace Jack Willis, whose afternoon's work is done. No doubt he will cause absolute carnage. But it's Italy who have it now, 10 metres in, 10 metres out from their own try line. Looking to exit. And immediately the referee having words with an overzealous Earl. Barney kicks it up and over the top. It's caught by Hassel-Collins right on the halfway line. Jamie Tempo being bellowed at England's hooker. World Rugby bringing in new rules and regulations, and one of them is to speed up the line out. No huddles anymore. No, we crack straight on, and so England do. Owen Farrell, centre of the park, finds Dombrandt. Here is Slade. Coming in as that playmaker so often. Oh, and offset. Max Malins drops the ball onto his laces, chips it through. Brex does really, really well to cover for that one. Italy right on that far touchline, pinned back 10 metres from their try line. They came out the blocks the fastest in the second half, but since then it's been one-way traffic. And England straight back into the Italian 22.
Use it!
This is our Sports Extra coverage of England up against Italy, and so far England looking for all the world like they're headed for a first win under Steve Borthwick. Italy clear their lines and will find themselves on the edge of their own 22. Initially I thought that was going to be an intercept for Italy going all the way, but England managed to get it back, but they're just putting the phases. We're going to see a lot of changes now with subs coming on, and how that has an impact onto this game as well.
I'll get the numbers.
Henry Arundel getting stripped off as well. He's a guy that you pay money to see. This guy is box office, he is X Factor, and hopefully England can get him some ball.
Yep.
As Sonia mentioned at the beginning of the show, he is a man who has absolutely sparkled since his introduction to senior rugby. He's 90% quads and 10% pure stardust. Someone who's also 90% quad is Mako Vunipola. He's on for Ellis Genge. One of 10 capped Vunipolas. Brother Billy also plays for England, but not in the Six Nations squad this year. England knocked the ball on off the back of that line out. Italy will have the push in at the scrum inside their 22. So just to remind you, now onto the field, we have Mako Vunipola and Dan Cole replacement props. Ben Earl in on the back row. And wearing number 23, you wouldn't put that past being his points tally by the end of today, is Henry Arundel.
Number 6.
Cam Merchant, just how good is this kid?
Oh, he's absolute fire. He's confident. He's just pops up as well. He's not a winger that stays on his wing. He'll go through the middle. He'll look at those back insides. He goes hunting. But he's just
he's one of those players as well, exciting. You want to see the ball kick to him, you want to see him have a counter-attack. Really exciting and a promising future ahead for sure.
He was another player who toured Australia with us in the summer, and
Take the weight.
some of the stuff he did in training was a joke. Some stuff I've never seen before. He would just pick the ball up and run around every single player in our team twice and score. And we all just go, wow. He's one of those players you go, wow, this kid is special. So hopefully I'm not bigging him up too much. He's going to drop his first ball, but no, I'm looking forward to seeing him show what he can do.
Italy need a complete front row to contest this scrum just inside their 22. So Riccioni is back on.
Break foot back.
And have the advantage there off the back of it. Finally getting some change at scrum time. And the ball is with Allen, their fly half, who will hoof the free kick as far as he is able. Finds the halfway line, pretty much exactly. Italy still trailing 26 points to 7 here at Twickenham. 25 minutes remaining in this one. Jamie George still going, played the full 80 last week, did the hooker. And Dombrandt, such a workhorse. He carries again. Slade sends up a steepling kick right onto the edge of the Italian 22. Capuzzo wins the battle in the airwaves, brings the ball down safely to this, just on the inside of this near touchline. And Italy now looking to string together some phases. It's felt so fractious from the Italians recently. It's a shake of the head of Danny Kerr to my left. I'll ask him why in just a moment. Varney had looked to kick it over. Italy knock it on. England will have the possession. What was the issue there, Danny?
Oh, I mean, the Italians, they're trying something. You give them credit for it, but I think it's all well trying something, but when you look up and the picture isn't on, you have to do something a little bit differently. They've obviously tried a little kick over the top from the scrum half rather than exiting and getting the ball down the field. But they've looked up and the English lads have read it, because they tried to do it 12 times last weekend, so they've obviously watched it on the video. It wasn't on and England gobbled it up, and now they've got an attacking scrum in the middle of the field, which is gold dust in rugby.
Yes, tactically the decision to kick and where to kick it. Actually, if they'd have gone a bit longer, had it run on and they've got a big chase on it, it's a very different kind of kick than that one over the middle, which just isn't working for them.
England have the put in just inside the Italian half. It's Dombrandt who's rummaging for it. Varney flies up, does really well to take out the number 8's wrist, not the ball of course, knocks it to the ground.
You're offside there.
Italy have turned it over, and Allen sends it right up onto the English 22. Here is Freddie Stewart. He returns it back to his opposite number, Capuzzo. World Rugby's breakthrough player of the year, who kicks it through, but clattered in the face as he does so. The ball trickles into touch, and just to mention, Lorenzo Canone, the Italian number 8, his afternoon is over. So it's arrivederci to Lorenzo Canone, and ciao to Jake Polledri, back wearing an Italian jersey for the first time since November 2020. Did a horrendous injury to his knee, and it was 22 months and 7 days between that injury and his return to rugby, but he's back implausibly, wonderfully playing for his country. There's a maul 15 metres in. England making some inroads. They're up onto the halfway line now. The sizable figure with the black scrum cap of Itoje right in the middle of it. But Italy somehow managed to turn it over. And offset Zuliani fend like a piston to make some metres.
Turnover's good.
Rolling through the contact. It's Elias strip. Maro Itoje turns it over, places it back. England with the penalty.
Some very messy play there. Riccioni, I think, got away with that one. I don't think he was onside to be able to play the 9 there, but then a couple of turnovers here there, but both teams just needing to probably just settle a little bit.
How difficult is it to get some quality, some consistency, some patience back in your play when at this 60-minute mark things just begin to disintegrate?
Well, I think because you've got subs coming on for both sides, everything becomes a little bit unclear, and it does take a few minutes to adjust.
Saracen to Saracen. George finds Itoje, and Lawrence with an unbelievable bump off, skins one, fends off the other. The ball pops up into the darkening Twickenham skies. It's in the dead ball area. Brex has it. What a burst from Ollie Lawrence. What a lot of pressure on the Italians. They've got to exit here. It's a wild pass from the outside centre. They were playing with a knock-on advantage there, the Italians, so they'll have the push in. But just a glimpse there, Danny Kerr, of what Ollie Lawrence can do when he gets it right.
Yeah, I think Ollie Lawrence has been waiting a while to be back in an England shirt for opportunities like that. It's an unbelievable, but he's so powerful and physical. He runs straight over my mate Tommaso Allen in the 10 jersey. Tommy just goes too high, and if you go too high against a powerful player, you're going to get bumped off. It's a 30-metre break, and unfortunately, he just knocks it on with the line, begging. But just a glimpse of what Ollie Lawrence can do.
To bowl a player over and still be running just as fast is incredible, because normally even if you hand someone off, you generally it will adjust your running stride or something, but that was just as if nothing was in front of him, not even a speed bump, just kept his legs going. But he'll be pretty disappointed with the ball spilling for sure, because that was a great line.
How does that feel, Kat? I've never had the feel of that.
It's pretty great.
Is it?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tommaso Allen was briefly back in round 1 of the Six Nations, but I hope he's back with us in round 2. Alex Mitchell is on, placing Jack Van Portfleet, making just his second appearance with the rose on his chest. Italy had the put in, 5 metres out from their try line. Running now before the posts is Poledri. Back representing the Azzurri, and it's so good to see him out there. It's a looping pass from the Italians. And the ball is spilt. England have it, and they will come again. Max Malins in off his wing in the centre of the park, finding Earl. Earl with a chip through. All the forwards are having a go today. Malins in giving chase. Earl giving chase. Sosu is Slade and Arundel, but it's Italy who come up with the penalty, and they needed to. 5 metres from their try line and desperately scrambling.
It's a wonderful kick here from Ben Earl. Did he go left foot? Did he go out off the side of the right foot? But it's a great option. Capowatso does brilliantly, just evades Alex Mitchell. And then I think Ben Earl maybe goes off his feet here and gives away a penalty. A great impact from Ben Earl.
Yeah, it's a lovely tackle, really textbook tackle, sliding around, and then it's just what he does off the back of it before going for the ball, I think, which is giving the penalty away. Time on Simone Ferrari's yellow card has expired. He's back onto the field, and so too is Luca Bigi, the replacement hooker. Italy have the ball now and a bit of space on that wing. Here's that's Bruno taking off, and now it's Ange Capowatso with one man to beat. And if you want someone to win a one-on-one, it's that man there. He manages to get the ball away to Varney. Italy now 10 metres out, just inside that far touchline. A glimpse of what these devilishly tricksy backs can do when they just have a little bit of space. They're in the English 22. Allen, the fly half, picking out Padovani, the winger, dances inside Chesham, but he brings him down. Itoje's in over the ball. It's Allen who has it, frees a hand, finds Bigi, his first involvement of the afternoon. Italy on the 22, opt to go down the blind side. Quick hands from Rutzer. Ball trickles forwards. It's scooped up by Arundel. Whistle goes from the referee. Ball's knocked on. Italy will have the put in. Italy are just so comfortable playing in chaos. It doesn't matter if it's a loose ball, it doesn't matter if it just goes behind, they're just giving players opportunity, and it's lovely run support play as well. An outrageous offload there, I don't know how he manages to get away from it, and then it's the lines of running as well, the support play, just the want to keep that ball alive is something this Italian team do, I think, second to none at the minute.
You've got to feel if the Italians could just put a set piece alongside that, they'd be an unbelievable team, because they ball in hand with that tempo, they're as good as anyone. If they could just marry that with a consistent set piece and not giving away penalties, they're going to beat someone this tournament, I'm sure of it. I don't think it's today, but I think they're going to beat someone this tournament.
I think they will be licking their lips at the prospect of a date with Wales in Rome in round 4. Italy's number 22 is on. Alessandro Fusco replaces Stephen Varney. He's played an hour in this Italian side, who trails 7 points to 26. England with the bonus point, the try bonus point wrapped up, but 18 minutes left to decide the outcome of this one. Will it be a first win for Borthwick's England, or can Italy produce something truly spectacular beneath the lights here at Twickenham. Fusco finds Allen. There's width on this. Brex dances inside, a looping dummy to get a couple of metres past Lawrence. Oh, what a carry from Menoncello! Gets low, drives his legs hard, and Italy suddenly 5 metres out. Fusco looking to snipe. What an introduction to the game! He touches the ball twice, the Italian replacement scrum half, and the second one brings about 5 precious points. Italy narrow the deficit through Alessandro Fusco, and they trail 12 points to 26 with the conversion to come.
It's a brilliant impact for the replacement scrum half. Just good play again, just moving the ball to space, running at props, finding mismatches. And once they get behind the gain line, Fusco, one ball, and then he just a little sniping run to his left, scores the try. It's a brilliant impact.
Little hint of a blocking line there though as well. Just Dan Cole's light to he was hinting that maybe maybe you wouldn't have got there anyway, but what I love about Italy is they just go for it. And that was a sound indication from Eric Gozan, our TMO, that the try was good.
Good. Yes.
So Allen will make it a 7-pointer, and the gap narrows to just 12. They're inside 2 converted scores now, Italy. Danny, can it be done?
I mean, I just said that it can't be done, and they won't win today. So I'm going to stick with that. I think England have to win these games. They're 26-7 up with 20 minutes to go. You cannot lose this game. So I think England you'll see them walking. They're walking now. They're walking to the kickoff. They'll slow the game down, try and play some territory, try and get another opportunity in their half. But there'll be no thrills here from England.
Owen Farrell, muddied and bruised, stands in the centre of the pitch, breaks the ball down to Menoncello, who was at the heart of that score. Italy's second of the afternoon. 26 plays 14 here at Twickenham, and Italy yet again looking to exit and choosing to do so by running it, and off gallops Negri, Sebastian Negri, who has been threatening all afternoon long. It's a kick through. Farrell gathers it right on the edge of his 22. He kicks it back. Capuzzo waits in the backfield right on his own 22. And the young maestro, the mercurial talent, weaves his way across the pitch. And now Zuliani with a chance to stretch his legs. Farrell sends it back. It's Allen in the backfield. He's got Negri for company and Bruno. Allen assesses his options, and under pressure from Farrell, sends it up to the halfway line. There's a gain for England there.
I tell you what, I think if they get this ball up to Capuzzo on the blind side, I think they're in again. I think they are. The English defence just gets a little bit tight. It's all a bit broken. Everybody's not in their normal positions, and that's when the Italians will strike.
Has it got a little bit edgy at Twickenham, in your opinion?
Definitely edgy. You just don't get the feeling that even though they are 12 points ahead, it doesn't feel like it's put away yet. And when Italy get the ball, when it's messy, that's when they are most dangerous. So yeah, I think there's a few people getting a little bit tense in the crowd. It's a bit too close for liking.
And I wonder if a symptom of that is the fact that Marcus Smith is still in his yellow bib on the bench. They've not brought in the sparky young fly half. They've stuck with Owen Farrell, and they are trusting their forwards once more, because England won their own line out there and are marching their way up towards the 22, but putting boots on treacherous blades of painted grass. The flag goes up with the linesman. England found themselves in touch, and Italy go quickly. This is a side who only know one speed, and that is breakneck, and Brex finds himself just in from that far touchline.
Backwards.
Ball goes backwards. Capuzzo pounces upon it. Italy have the ball 10 metres in from the far touchline, looking to make it back into the English half. They took that one quickly. Ludlam piles in over that one and slows the Italian attack for the time being. 26-14 here at Twickenham. Final match of the weekend, Six Nations action. It's Rutzer still going. Oh, it's such a busy bee. Ball knocks on forwards. England will have the put in. And the crowds here at Twickenham are not happy. Italy just outrageous though. They're doing a crossfield kick in their own 22 to run out of it because they've spotted that's where there's a little gap in the defence, but the confidence in order to do that and now to put the pressure on as well. It was only a fumbled the ball going forward in contact that meant that now England have it back, but Italy, got to be said, are looking the dangerous side.
When the blue player touched it. Yep, just hold
In the boos, I think the English fans, maybe the referee gave that knock on just a little bit too early because the ball had just been flicked into the hands of the fastest kid on that pitch in Henry Arundel, and he blew it up and didn't let him run the length. He'd have gone in untouched then, I'm sure of it.
Leaving scorch marks as he did so. Mitchell with the put in, just his second appearance in the white jersey of England. As Swing Low, Sweet Chariot rings out around HQ. White packing down against blue will reset that scrum. It's been all change in the England pack. Vunipola is on, so too is Cole. Ezekwe has come on to replace John Brand. Earl is on the field as well.
Break foot's fine, boys. We just can't.
The only replacement forward we're yet to see is young Jack Walker. Stood by to make his debut, as he was last week. He didn't get the opportunity to, but you know him extremely well, Danny. You play with him at Harlequins. Another really hot young prospect, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been brilliant for Harlequins the past couple of seasons. World class around the park, but his set piece is what sets him apart. His scrum and his line. I'm reliably informed he's a brilliant scrummager. I've got no idea what they're doing there. But,
I saw you in a scrum in the Premiership a few weeks ago. Didn't you win a penalty?
Again, no idea, but yeah, we got a penalty somehow.
Is he a truffle pig though? That's the important question.
Yes. The best ones are.
Angle.
It's Alex Mitchell, the replacement scrum half of all people, at the heart of that penalty for England. Italy just over eager, looking to turn them over at the scrum there.
Angle under pressure.
Owen Farrell will have the opportunity to send them back deep into the Italian 22. It's only 11 minutes remaining of this one, and 12 minutes the deficit. Italy will need to manage a point a minute if they are to pull off the unthinkable here in England's own backyard.
Danny, would you say you were more or less effective than Johnny May in the scrum?
I was definitely better than Johnny. Definitely
so that's one
Johnny.
thing. Yeah.
Hold the line, please.
He was in the wrong space, wasn't he?
He looked very confused.
He's always confused.
I've heard that. George, right on the 22, finds Itoje. Nominated for World Rugby's Player of the Year just a couple of years ago, and how good it would be to see him back to his belligerent best. Mitchell stands behind them all, pointing out to the open side, marshalling the forwards before him. He might not need all the width because they are getting it done the hard way.
That's broken away.
All the grunt and the hustle you could want. Mitchell in over the ball. England 10 metres out, hogging this near touchline. Vunipola finds Cole. Veteran prop, if they can forgive me for calling them that. Mitchell finds Chesham. He had such a coming-of-age performance here last week. He looks really to the manner born as Chesham in an England jersey. Lawrence before the posts. England 10 metres out, down the other way they go. Mitchell looking to snipe, as is his way, frees his hand, gets the ball to Arundel. And Henry Arundel proving that all you have to do is get him the ball and he will work some magic with it. He knows his way to the try line. Got a feeling we'll be seeing a lot more of him. England 31, Italy 14.
Yeah, it's brilliant work here from the replacement scrum half Alex Mitchell, bringing his club form into international rugby. He just spots a bit of an opening on the blind side, and one thing this lad does, he backs himself. He looks like he's running across aimlessly, but he's not. He's waiting for one guy to jump out of the line to force a mismatch, to give the ball to a Henry Arundel, and a great finish there, Cap.
Yeah, really nice finish as well, because there's still work to be done, and he manages to really importantly get his feet up, so he's not going to brush any. We saw the the controversy of the Ireland try as well on the aftermath of it at half time, but gets his feet up, so nowhere near touchline, gets the ball down. Nice clean finish for him. Now Owen Farrell with a chance to widen the gap even further. He's right on the touchline here, just outside the 22. It's going to take an almighty whack to cleave the uprights here. And we're talking about exciting young prospects. Alex Mitchell, Henry Arundel. Well, here's another name for you. Marcus Smith is on. As the other playmaker in this side, Owen Farrell, lines up the conversion attempts. Looks to the posts, to the ball, back up again. And fascinatingly, it's Henry Slade who has made way for young Smith. So we will see the Smith-Farrell axis with 8 minutes to deal some more killer blows to this Italian side. Farrell strikes the ball, it's fading, it's not quite got the distance. The radar was spot on, but it didn't quite have enough welly behind it. Those 2 points go begging. England 31, Italy 14, 72 minutes of the clock, and just listen to the reception that Marcus Smith is getting here at Twickenham. Italy will get us back underway. But on is Marcus Smith, and let's see what sorcery he can conjure up in the dying minutes of this one. Ludlam receives the restart, driven back. England back inside their own 22. Mitchell picks out Itoje with his teammates, Ezekwe.
It is inside.
Slow ball, Italy counter-rucking ferociously. They know that they've not got long if they're to have any sort of say in this encounter.
Stay on there. Use inside.
Saints teammates linking up. Ludlam over at Mitchell with the clearance kick, sends it just up over the halfway line. And with 7 points remaining, here comes Jack Walker. What a moment for the young Harlequin. 26 years old, making his England debut. He's captained the England age group sides to Rugby World Championship glory, and now he's mixing it with the big boys. And straight in to defend that line out. Italy send it long. Scotland-esque with that trick play. Over the top it goes. Fusco finds Yakitsi, but England turn it over, force the knock-on.
Yeah, delighted to see Jack Walker on the pitch. Harlequin's legend, but also went to my school, Prince Henry's Grammar School up in Otley. So be a proud day for him and his family. I know how hard he's worked. Unbelievable opportunity for him, and he thoroughly deserves it. And he's going to get his head in his first scrum in international rugby, so well done, Jack Walker.
Couldn't be amongst more experienced fellow front rowers. It must be so comforting when you make your debut to be alongside people like Mako Vunipola, like Dan Cole.
Yeah, he deserves to be there. He does. He's played so well for Quins. He was a great player for Bath, but I think his opportunity to really show what he can do is he's done that at Harlequins the last season or two, and yeah, delighted. Was gutted for him last week not to get on, but he could understand in those. And he's the type of guy. He went to Australia again in the summer, didn't play a single minute, but just such a good tourist, such a good squad man that never kicked up a fuss, trained hard, and now he's getting his opportunity.
And immediately coming up with a penalty. England rise from that scrum, a scrum that packed down in front of 81,609 people. Twickenham has been packed, and with the result feeling a bit of a conclusive one now. The feeling there'll be 81,000 leaving here with smiles on their faces. Borthwick wanted to put pride back in this place. You can feel it in the chorus ringing around the stands. First throw for Jack Walker. Very nicely done, picks out Ezekwe. Marcus Smith now with the ball in the middle of the park. Ben Earl has a carry. Mitchell is in, spins it out wide to Farrell. England 10 metres shy of the Italian 22 now. Down the shorts they go. Marcus Smith looking to stab through a grubber. It's Capozzo who pounces on it. It's a foot race between Mitchell and Capozzo. England just about forced the ball into touch.
So
he managed to stop the young Italian fullback. Oh, one of those scary moments, isn't it, as well, when it is just loose. It's so difficult then to predict where it's going to go, so there's a mad foot race for the ball.
Let's go.
Big territorial gain, though, for the Italian.
Player down.
Ange Capozzo is holding his ankle, grimacing.
Just time off, blue player down here.
Strike fear into the hearts of all those supporting the Italians. Italy with 2 scores to their name. Penalty try one from Riccioni, the prop.
You all right? Okay.
England well. An embarrassment of Richards, a bonus point in the bag.
It's blue ball.
Just 4 minutes remain here.
Time is on.
It's Luca Bigi, former skipper of this Italian side. Picks up Ruzza, the line out. Here come Italy. Can they have a final say in this one? No, not if they are as inaccurate as that. The ball's knocked on. England pounce upon it. Just outside their own 22. Itoje picks up the ball and has a go all by himself. Oh, in his acting scrum half. Cole came on last week for his first appearance for his country since the Rugby World Cup final.
Just stay there, stay there.
On a penalty immediately, and when asked about it afterwards said, "It's what I was made to do." It's one of the finest pushers and shovers this country's ever produced, and he's out there. 97 caps in, still making himself felt. Italy now with the ball off that box kick. Just shy of the halfway line, Fusco. Down the short side they go through Negri. It's with Zuliani. Bumps off one, bumps off two, frees his hands, finds Pelledri right up on the halfway line. Bodies all over the place. It's been a hard-hitting, breathless affair at points, and that's just beginning to tell. Fusco, Capuzzo, eyes alight, bounces off Dan Cole. There's probably about a 60 or 70 kilo discrepancy there, so it's no surprise to see the young fullback bounding backwards, but Italy still have it. 8 phases in now, the Italians. Allen with Ruzza in its support. They're into the English half now. Fusco, the scrum half, picks out a forwards. Blue jerseys queuing up, eager to have a go, to flex their muscles in the dying stages. 2 minutes remain, 31 plays 14 here at Twickenham. It's a loose pass, Ruzza gathers it. Not going anywhere fast, the Italians.
Off the foot!
England's defence so much more robust this week. Kevin Sinfield has had his way, starting to his mark on a team who are forcing Italy backwards, although they still have possession. Bruno, bounce pass out onto the wing. Here is Zuliani, back to his feet, the back row forwards. Italy again, Allen, BG, Brax, Capuzzo, up against Lawrence, spots a space, weaving through it, dancing, looks for support. It's not there, he's brought down. Lawrence does really well to strip it and offsets England's inside centre. Walker, oh, with a dummy. Finds Smith on a cute inside line, but the ball's knocked on.
That steal from Ollie Lawrence was fantastic, was so important as well from the line round to get back as the second tackler, bounce up on his feet, show the clear release you can see here, getting in over the ball, strong position, turnover. He doesn't just look to play a penalty, gets it, looks to move it, fantastic. And right as he rises with that ball, we're told in the stadium that he is the player of the match. Danny, who were your runners and riders for that accolade this afternoon?
Yeah, I think Ollie Lawrence has had a good game. I think someone like Ollie Chesham, someone quietly, Lewis Ludlam, Jack Willis for the 50-60 minutes he was on for, I thought was brilliant. I think Alex Donbrand had a big game. Probably one of the big boys. You've got to give credit to them today. They've stepped up. They've scored some crucial maul tries and some tries in the tight. It's not been the end-to-end game that we thought. I think the fair play to the Italians, they've come back into this, and when they do look after the ball like that, they're going to cause teams a lot of problems. I think you just want to marry that up with a set piece, which is what England have laid their whole foundations of their game on today, is their set piece, and that's what's won them the game.
So those are your candidates for teacher's pet, but what about a grade for the whole England class? Out of 10, what would you give this performance? Because I don't know if this Twickenham crowd are entirely convinced.
Maybe a 7, because I think that they've come out and they've done a good job, obviously, in the set piece. They've done well there. Defence massively improved on from last week, but they're still simmering. I reckon there's more, and that's okay for there to be more, because you want to be learning, you want to be working each other out, and then that's going to give them the platform to go even above and beyond, because I don't think this is a 10. I don't think many people would, maybe Ireland last week, but other than yesterday. So other than that, yeah, building. What would you give them?
Yeah, I think you're about right. 7.5. I think they've done what they needed to do today. They haven't needed to throw the ball around and run it from everywhere. One thing's for certain though is they're about to face better teams than what they faced today. All you can do is beat the opposition that's put in front of you on the day. Today they've done that against Italy. It's a really dominant performance with a couple of scares, but England have always been in control here. But going to Wales have not played well at all yet this tournament, and they will pitch up when England go to town in a couple of weeks' time. But in the last 2 games are the real acid test for this England team. Away at Ireland and home to France, back to back. I think that's where we'll have a real indication of how good this England side is, because they're going to have to play a lot better than they did today against those two.
And do you think, from what you've seen, that Borthwick will persist with Owen Farrell starting at 10?
I imagine so. Yeah, I think he's looking to build something, so I think he will. I was surprised not to see Marcus to come on to replace him. I thought we'd be looking at that so he can still continue to play at 10, instead choosing to put them on together. But yeah, I think so. What do you think? You shook your head a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think it will. I think he probably will. It looks like it's worked today. Obviously every game's a little bit different. It's great to see them back out there again. I think also what you've got to think of, England have lost a fair few of their leaders recently. Courtney Laws, Tom Curry, not around. So Owen, as captain, you kind of need to keep him on the pitch as long as you can.
1 minute remains in this round 2 encounter. England 31, Italy 14. It's Italy with the ball. Bruno right before the posts, just outside the England 22. Fusco opts to head down the short side, finds Menoncello. It's Marcus Smith with the tackle. Back the other way they go. Such quick ball for Fusco there. Popped it straight out on a plate for Yakitsi.
Thank you.
And now a stab through from the scrum half, but he puts too much on it and the ball trickles dead with 3 minutes left on the clock. We'll come back.
Guys, 22 or
the long arm of Ollie Chesov extends. He's pointing up at the clock. 22? I suspect he's blowing a bit and would quite like it if this thing came to an end.
Yeah, he's put a shift in today, hasn't he?
Okay.
But we will come back. We will
outside the 22.
have one final scrum.
Max here.
Your front rows as the clock winds down on this one. Jack Walker in as hooker for England, making his debut alongside Vunipola and Cole. 171 caps between them, the pair of them, if my maths works there. Luca Bigi in the centre of the front row facing up against Zani and Ferrari. It's Mitchell who will have the put in for England, looking to exit and perhaps put a cherry on the cake. Plenty of people in Twickenham growing a little bit restless now, turning the lights on their phones. It's like being at a Celine Dion concert, but with a rugby match in the middle of things.
What a voice.
Mine or Celine? Both. Smith sends it back to Farrell, who decides enough is enough. And he kicks it into touch to bring things to a close. Well, there you have it. Triumph at Twickenham. A first win of the Steve Borthwick era. A win that you felt these England fans needed, this England setup needed. And a win that the 23 men in action today thoroughly deserves. They'll have to get better. The road ahead is only going to grow steeper, but absolutely huge that they got themselves up and running today in the face of a valiant Azuri outfit. 80 minutes played in front of 80,000 full-time. England 31, Italy 14. And as the two sides meet one another and congratulate one another on a hard-fought afternoon, Danny Kerr, Cap Merchant, love your thoughts on what we've just seen this afternoon.
Yeah, I think Steve Borthwick and the coaches will be happy with what he's seen. They went back to basics. They kicked well. They attacked when they needed to attack, and by that I mean when they were in the right positions to attack. They played with tempo and they scored tries. They were clinical when they got opportunities. They put the ball in the corner. There was a clear disparity between the packs in terms of set piece, and England exploited that and took their tries well. Look, fair play to Italy. They stuck on in there. I still think they will beat someone in this tournament if they get everything right. Unfortunately, wasn't their day today, and a deserved England win.
Yeah, Italy perhaps guilty of overplaying a little bit, which cost them. But England showed up. They did what they had to do. They dominated a set piece, which is really important for allowing them to have a platform that they can build off. But an important win, one that they had to get today, and they delivered. We've all been talking all afternoon long about that absolute humdinger in Dublin, Ireland against France. They're just different gravy right now, it seems. Can we include Scotland in a sort of top 3, a fight for those top 3 spots? Is that how this is looking to shape up?
Yeah, it pays me to say, obviously, because they beat England last week, but I'd put Scotland and England kind of in that 3rd, 4th spot. And on their day, that game could have gone the other way. England probably should have won that game. I do think Ireland and France are a cut above the rest at the minute. I think they're playing a game on a different level to everybody else, and what a test match they had last week. The question is, can they keep backing that up every single week? And at the moment, Ireland are getting asked a lot of questions, and they're answering them very well at the moment. So Andy Farrell sat there as head coach, probably licking his lips and looking at a potential Grand Slam for Ireland, and what a year to do it in.
And then down the other end of the table, the end that nobody wants to be in, because there is a wooden spoon, the unhappy prize to be won. Kat, how do you think that battle is looking, and do you think it will come down to that round 4 clash in Rome?
Yeah, I think that is the one that will be the decider of it. I mean, Wales just look lost. They don't look like they don't even look like they've got the passion that they had before. That it just, something needs a massive shift for them to change, and Italy will 100% be targeting them as a win for them. And they snuck it in the last minute play last year, but I think they'll want to go and dominate this year.
And then we've talked about it a little bit across the programme, but before that match against Scotland, the Calcutta Cup, Sinfield and Borthwick, they had 11 days with the squad. They've now had another 8 days. Given in mind there's a fallow week coming up, it's a whole fortnight until we see this England team in action again. Danny, just how much more improvement might we see?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it in comms. It showed today that they'd had an extra week together. Relationships were forming. It does take time. It takes time to get what you want on the park, and for the coaches to get that into the players. It's going to take time. I thought their attack looked sharper. Their defence looked more energetic. They didn't look as leggy. Maybe they'd done less in training this week. I think the first week they probably ran a bit too much and they were a little bit tired in that Scotland game, but they didn't look as leggy today. They were getting off the line and making big physical hits, which is what you suspect of this England team.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is that conditioning working together, but also it takes time to set an environment. And new coach coming in, he's going to have his own environment in there that he wants to build, and that does take time. And so hopefully, if we've seen the improvement over 8 days now, we've got another 2 weeks till we see him again. We'll see another improvement from this squad.
Well, there you have it. The thoughts of Danny Kerr and Kat Merchant alongside me on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. They've got a wonderful tally of 11 Six Nations titles between them, so they really do know their onions. But if you want more expert analysis, there'll be plenty more reaction tonight at 8 p.m. on 5 Live, which will then become tomorrow's Rugby Union Daily podcast, available on BBC Sounds or wherever it is that you get your podcast. That is it from Twickenham today. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Sonia. And thank you to England and Italy for a fascinating afternoon that finished 31 points to 14. The Borthwick era is up and running. Well, it's time now on Sports Extra to go to South Africa for the latest match of the T20 World Cup. It's Bangladesh against Sri Lanka.